Chapter 287. The three of them watched as the Titan giant ape left with the mysterious black-robed man. For a moment they were stunned. Then, the three of them collapsed to the ground and broke out in cold sweat. So close, so close. Dream Shinji muttered, "If not for that mysterious senior, I'm afraid we would have all died here." The Titan giant ape's strength was far beyond their imagination. The overlord of the great star Do forest. They were famous figures in the world of soul masters. How could they not have heard of it? It was only when they saw it with their own eyes that they felt so terrified. "I feel that the Titan giant ape doesn't want to kill us. Otherwise," Bai Baoshan coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood and said softly. His heavenly star furnace had been used as a defense just now, so he could feel the power of the Titan giant ape the most. It was more of a playful thing. "No matter what, we're saved." Ji Lin laughed bitterly. "I wonder who that mysterious senior is? He didn't even leave a name. But that spear." The aura that the spear emitted was too terrifying. One look at it and they felt their souls tremble. Although the three of them were severely injured and mentally unstable, they still felt terrified. "I've never seen a spear-type martial soul that emitted such a ferocious aura." Dream Shinji recalled the powerful soul masters in the world of soul masters. None of them matched. Also, I can't tell its level. But to be able to attract the Titan giant ape's attention, it must be very strong. The three of them discussed for a while. At this moment, Qian Rinxue woke up. "What's the situation with the three of you?" Qian Rinxue looked at the three of them and asked with a frown. The three of them were lying on the ground. They were no longer Soul Douluo. It was as if they had just fought a huge battle. Could it be that the blood-winged dragon beetle was here again? Dream Shinji and the other two looked at each other. They shook their heads and laughed bitterly. They told Qian Rinxue what had just happened. After listening, Qian Rinxue fell silent. "Titan giant ape?" Qian Rinxue's tone was still calm. "How did we encounter such a soul beast?" "Wait, are you saying that you were saved by a senior wearing a black robe and a white mask?" Meng Shinji nodded and said, "This senior is very strong and his martial spirit is a ferocious blood-red spear. He is wearing a black robe and a white mask. He is very strong." That spear shot from afar and landed in front of us, which attracted the attention of the Titan giant ape. The Dream Shinji heaved a sigh. "If we had come any later, even if this Titan giant ape didn't kill us, the three of us and His Highness would have met a tragic end." After hearing this, Qian Rinxue was stunned. "Black robe, white mask, spear. Is that you?" Qian Rinxue looked at the direction the Dream God machine was pointing at. There was a special passage that was formed by the Titan apes. "Feng Yuxiu, you saved me again?" Qian Rinxue murmured. She wanted to follow them and find out what had happened. Would the Titan giant ape have killed him? It shouldn't. He has a soul skill that can block the aura of a 60,000-year soul beast. He should be able to escape, right? But why would he appear here? Could it be that he has been following me all this time? Qian Rinxue shook her head. "How is that possible? I don't even know him. He saved me once, so there's no reason for him to save me again. Furthermore, I'm a man now. It must be a coincidence." Thinking of this, Qian Rinxue had mixed feelings. "Your Highness, don't tell me you want to go and take a look?" The Dream Shinji was shocked when it saw Qian Rinxue's gaze. It hurriedly tried to dissuade her. "Your Highness, we will repay this senior's kindness in the future. However, it's better for us to leave now. Furthermore, it's useless for the few of us to go. Even a titled Douluo might not be able to defeat that Titan giant ape." Qian Rinxue nodded. She wasn't that stupid. How could she really go? With their abilities, they wouldn't even be able to escape. They would only cause trouble. Sealed in cultivation, sealed in cultivation. Qian Rinxue muttered a few words in her heart. She had a strange feeling in her heart. Her senses from 7 years ago led to her meeting today. She was even saved twice in a row. "I hope you can walk out of the great Star Do forest. I believe that we will meet again." Qian Renshua looked into the depths of the forest. She was a little worried, but also a little expectant. Little chimpanzee, you can't catch up, so you're trying to hit me. In midair, Wang Feng held the soul-slaying spear in his hand. His blood-red wings flapped behind his back, and streaks of blood-red light streaked across the sky. The Titan giant ape was running on all fours. Its speed wasn't inferior, but it couldn't catch up to Wang Feng. That human seems a little familiar. The Titan giant ape was a little angry that he was scurrying around like a fly. It roared furiously. The air around them seemed to have been increased by 10 times. It became extremely heavy. Wang Feng also staggered. He felt that his body had suddenly become a few times heavier. His flying speed instantly slowed down. Domain? What's that? Wang Feng groaned and immediately hid his mysterious underworld armor. His speed finally returned to normal. Seeing this, the Titan giant ape opened its eyes wide and roared furiously again. An even more frightening strength crushed the void. Crackling sounds of explosions rang out in the air. Fuck, is this really a domain? Wang Feng suddenly thought of something. He felt his body become a little heavier. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on him. His speed became a lot slower, but he didn't fall from the sky. It was just that Wang Feng felt as if his bones and muscles were being squeezed in this domain. Divine transformation! Wang Feng roared. The soul-slaying spear disappeared. He quickly descended, and his golden lotus bloomed. His divine transformation soul skill appeared again. The 4 times increase in his attributes made his body feel much more relaxed. The Titan giant ape stared at Wang Feng. Eat my spear. Before he landed on the ground, Wang Feng summoned the soul-slaying spear again. He immediately used his 4th soul skill, soul-devouring bloodwings. His attributes were boosted again. Wang Feng's eyes flashed red. He immediately attacked the Titan giant ape. Seeing Wang Feng attack, the Titan giant ape wasn't shocked. Instead, it was delighted. This little fly seems to be quite powerful. Indeed, Wang Feng was in the Titan giant ape's gravity domain. His attributes were boosted, and the heaviness was greatly reduced. He barely managed to return to normal. Roar! The Titan giant ape punched Wang Feng. Its huge fist was like a mountain. Compared to it, Wang Feng was more like a pebble. The two of them collided. Wang Feng was sent flying by a single punch. The Titan giant ape didn't even move. The difference in strength between them was too great. In addition to the gravity domain, Wang Feng's strength was greatly reduced. It was like punching in water. His strength was greatly reduced. Bang bang bang! Wang Feng broke dozens of trees in a row before he slowly came to a stop. Damn, this is too strong. Wang Feng looked at the path he had created after being blasted open. Countless trees were broken on both sides. I'm too arrogant. I actually thought I could exchange blows with this 100,000-year-old Erming. Wang Feng coughed a few times. He wasn't injured. His body was just a little shaken. Suddenly, a strange smile appeared on Wang Feng's face. However, this spear of mine will always be able to injure you. This is the soul-slaying spear we are talking about. Even if you are indestructible, a small wound will slowly accumulate. I can make you wish for death. Roar, roar! Seeing that the fly that Wang Feng had been unable to catch up to had been sent flying with a single punch, the Titan giant ape was as happy as a 300-pound child. It frantically slapped its chest, which was as hard as a black rock. He slapped his chest loudly. End of chapter. Chapter 288. Wang Feng stretched his body and flew into the air again to face the Titan giant ape. Wang Feng could also clearly see that there was another small wound on the Titan giant ape's hand. It wasn't big. To the Titan giant ape, such a wound was like a mosquito bite to an ordinary person. It didn't take it seriously at all. Little ape, come again! Wang Feng yelled. He knew that this Titan giant ape didn't have much killing intent. Come at me then. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The Titan giant ape spoke in human language and charged towards Wang Feng. Wang Feng was stunned when he heard this. This was because this sentence was much smoother than the blood-winged dragon beetle from before. Following this, the two of them started fighting. Boom, boom, boom. The entire forest seemed to have been lifted up by these two figures, one big and one small. Countless trees were smashed into pieces by Wang Feng's body. The Titan giant ape felt that it was very satisfying to fight. It hadn't felt so good in a long time. This little fly is quite strong. He can take a beating. I sent him flying with punch after punch. It's very satisfying. Fortunately, this little fly can take a beating. If it were a human soul master, he would have died after a few punches. Big Brother will definitely scold me then. As the overlord of the great Star Do Forest, the Titan giant ape rarely had such a good fight. However, why do I feel a little tired? The Titan giant ape was stunned. I originally felt that I was full of energy. Why did it deplete so quickly? It sent the little fly flying with another punch. The Titan giant ape suddenly looked at its palms and realized that they were covered in wounds. With its body's self-healing ability, such small wounds should have formed scabs in an instant. But they seemed to be getting bigger and bigger? This little fly seems to be poisonous. Wang Feng flew up again. On the contrary, he was full of energy. The more he fought, the more energetic he became. Although the soul-killing spear couldn't cause large-scale damage to the Titan giant ape, every wound couldn't be healed. Even the Titan giant ape couldn't heal. Furthermore, with his fourth soul skill, his attacks with the soul-killing spear had the effect of blood devouring. The more wounds his opponent had, the more energy he could absorb. The more he fought, the more his soul power wasn't depleted. On the contrary, the Titan giant ape already felt that something was amiss. However, Ming's vitality is far too strong. If we continue fighting like this, we might not be able to kill him even if we fight him for an entire day. Wang Feng shook his head inwardly. Apart from the fact that he hadn't unleashed his dark angel martial soul, there was nothing else he could do. It was already considered the fifth gear. He had even used the Golden Lotus to raise his soul power to rank 48. Aside from the karmic fire, this was his most powerful attack, aside from the Pangu axe and the Dark Angel. However, the damage they could inflict on the Titan giant ape was limited. Even a rank 80 assault-type soul master might not be able to hurt this Titan giant ape. Back then, Zhao Wuji, who was at level 76, had been flung away by the Titan giant ape in just a few moves. The Titan giant ape was completely fine. This was even after Zhao Wuji activated his martial soul true body. I'm so angry. The Titan giant ape looked at the wounds on its hands and roared furiously. It felt a bit dizzy, and it knew that the wounds were the cause. This wound contained a terrifying fiendish blood aura, causing him to be completely unable to heal the wound. If this continued, he would be exhausted to death sooner or later. Little Fly's prowess seems to have exceeded my imagination, the Titan ape thought. Although it was simple and honest, it wasn't stupid. Wang Feng. The Titan giant ape's body suddenly shone brightly, and its aura increased greatly. It didn't want to play anymore. If it continued playing, it would probably fall into this little fly's trap. Furthermore, the pain from the wounds on its palms made it a little unhappy. Wang Feng's eyes widened. Was it going to go all out? Damn, it's for real? If it's for real, then it's no fun. Wait. Wang Feng hurriedly shouted, I'm Xiao Wu's friend. The Titan giant ape was suddenly stunned. Wang Feng hurriedly took off his mask and hood. In the next moment, the Titan giant ape roared furiously, and its body shone brightly as it pounced toward Wang Feng. Little brother, what's wrong with you? I've already revealed my identity, and you're still coming? We're on the same side. Wang Fengxin was shocked. He quickly activated his Black Lotus, and the mysterious underworld armor covered his body. The Black Lotus instantly formed a pitch-black light barrier. Boom! The Titan giant ape's huge body pressed down on the light barrier. But this time, the light barrier didn't break. A year ago, when the Black Lotus first appeared, it could only resist the Titan giant ape for less than 3 seconds. But now the Black Lotus had a 10,000-year soul ring. It had matured, and he had obtained an external soul bone to strengthen his body. During this period, he had also been strengthened by the meteoric tear several times, and consumed 6 divine herbs. Apart from his brain and sternum, his entire body had been tempered by the karmic fire of the Red Lotus, and was extremely strong. Now, he had reached rank 44, and even obtained his 4th soul ring, a 60,000-year soul ring. 3 seconds? He probably couldn't break it even after 30 seconds. Wang Feng didn't use his Black Lotus to defend himself earlier because he wanted to let the Titan giant ape fight him head-on. He wanted to use the soul-killing spear to damage it and lower its guard. Now, he naturally had to use his Black Lotus to defend himself. Wang Feng stood in the center of the huge light barrier. He was forced back by the Titan giant ape's terrifying strength. Why was Wang Feng so confident that he could escape from a titled Douluo? It was because of the Black Lotus's powerful defensive ability. After more than 20 seconds, the light barrier of the Black Lotus started to show signs of cracking. A long trench was formed on the ground around Wang Feng's light barrier. "Turn!" Wang Feng shouted. The energy stored in the Black Lotus surged out crazily and repaired the cracks on the black light barrier. After holding on for almost a minute, the light barrier finally broke when the energy in the Black Lotus was used up. The light barrier was broken, and the Titan giant ape punched at Wang Feng. Boom! The punch landed squarely on Wang Feng's chest. Wang Feng's expression changed, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. However, the Titan giant ape also trembled violently as it was repelled by a powerful force. It retreated several steps, its lantern-sized eyes staring at the little fly in shock. At this moment, a huge figure suddenly appeared in mid-air in the distance. "Ming, stop!" A majestic voice sounded. This voice reminded Wang Feng of the voices in the hall he saw on TV. A voice could be heard, and it was unusually loud. The Titan giant ape scratched its own head, but it didn't attack. Instead, it gave a cold harumph before rubbing its palms together. This wound wouldn't heal, and it was only becoming more and more painful. It was also affecting its mind. It was very annoying. Sky Azure Bull Python? Wang Feng wiped the blood from the corners of his lips, and his heart jolted slightly at the sight of the gargantuan figure. How did it get here without him noticing? However, even though Wang Feng had been injured by the Titan giant ape's punch, it wasn't very serious. A few of his ribs had been broken, but that wasn't a big deal. With his body, he would recover very quickly. It was just that the soul power expenditure was a little excessive. "Are you Xiao Wu's friend, human?" The Sky Azure Bull Python looked down at the tiny human down below with a grim look in its eyes. Wang Feng nodded and said, "My name is Wang Feng. Xiao Wu should have told you about me." However, he was still thinking to himself that this Ming was far too powerful. Now that the Black Lotus had been destroyed, he could only flee. The Sky Azure Bull Python glanced at Wang Feng, then turned to the Titan giant ape. "You just told Ming who you were in an attempt to get him to let you go, which means that you know who he is. In that case, why did you fight him and infuriate him?" End of chapter. Chapter 289. Wang Feng coughed a few times and said without hiding anything, "I just want to exchange a few moves with Xiao Wu's friend." Aside from that, he had returned the favor by saving Dream Shinji and the other two from the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. After all, the 3 of them had released their pressure and allowed him to advance 3 ranks. Later, when they encountered Prince Xuexing, he had come to their rescue. Exchange a few moves? The Sky Azure Bull Python snorted coldly, and a burst of pressure pressed down on Wang Feng. However, Wang Feng had already used his divinized soul skill, and with the addition of the spiritual power from the black-banded mind skull, he was immune to the pressure. Otherwise, he would have vomited blood. You're an interesting human. The Sky Azure Bull Python stared at the human in bewilderment. Since when were human youths so strong? The pressure of a 100,000-year soul beast had no effect on this kid. The Sky Azure Bull Python turned to the Titan Giant Ape. I know this kid, the Titan Giant Ape said in a muffled voice. He was the one who put me down more than a year ago. I don't know what move he used just now, but my wounds couldn't heal. Big brother, look. I was so angry that I wanted to beat him up. I didn't want to kill him, but I was put down again just now. It's so painful, big brother. The Titan Giant Ape's last punch had broken several of Wang Feng's ribs, but he had also been injured by the rebound. It was probably even more painful than when he was trapped by the Black Lotus light barrier. The mysterious dark armor reflected 150% of the damage and weakened it by 20%. The Sky Azure Bull Python stared at the wounds on the Titan Giant Ape's palms with a grim expression in its eyes. What a terrifying blood aura! The Sky Azure Bull Python spat out a ball of light that landed on the Titan Giant Ape's palms. However, the ball of light didn't heal the Titan Giant Ape's wounds. It could only be said that it was suppressing them. Ming, your wounds can only be suppressed. They can't be healed. The Sky Azure Bull Python's pupils contracted. What was the cause of this wound? Why couldn't he heal them? After that, the Sky Azure Bull Python looked at Wang Feng with a cold look in its eyes. Leave. Since you're Xiao Wu's friend, I'll pretend nothing happened today. The Sky Azure Bull Python said in a deep voice. Wang Feng coughed a few times and said, Well, I was the one who caused your brother's injuries. Naturally, I can heal them. Don't worry. He just wanted to see the effects of the soul-slaying spear. From the looks of it, the soul-culling spear was indeed powerful. No matter how small the damage it dealt was, it was impossible to heal it. Furthermore, as time passes, the wound will definitely worsen. Suppressing the wound will also consume a lot of soul power, and it will definitely affect one's strength for a long time. You can recover? The Sky Azure Bull Python stared at Wang Feng with a bewildered expression. The Titan Giant Ape also turned around and looked at Wang Feng. Its huge body gave off a strong sense of oppression. Of course. Wang Feng walked to the Titan Giant Ape's side. The golden lotus in his hand spun slightly, exuding a vigorous vitality. This is... The Sky Azure Bull Python looked at the golden lotus in Wang Feng's hand and felt a special power that shocked him. However, the Sky Azure Bull Python was still looking at Wang Feng with vigilance. Recover, and I won't be angry anymore, Ming said. Wang Feng activated the golden lotus, and golden light fell onto Ming's palms. All of a sudden, Ming roared, Arf! The Sky Azure Bull Python was startled, and it said angrily, What's wrong, Ming? Is he? No, big brother, I feel so good. The Sky Azure Bull Python. Wang Feng focused his gaze on the golden light, and the wounds on Ming's hands were healing at a rate discernible to the naked eye. In just a short while, they had already recovered to their original state. It's just as I thought. The Golden Lotus's healing abilities are far beyond my imagination. It's not just ordinary healing abilities. Even these special wounds, including those caused by the soul-slaying spear, can be healed. Wang Fengxin heaved a faint sigh of relief upon seeing this. After all, they were both formed from the chaotic Azure Lotus. In other words, they were all born from the same mother, so they could naturally complement each other. As their soul power increased, their abilities would naturally become more powerful as well. After recovering, the Titan Giant Ape regained its vigor and vigor. Come, let's fight another 300 rounds. The Titan Ape said to Wang Feng, Since you can recover, I don't have to worry about you hurting me. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. Wang Feng. This Ming was a warmonger. The Sky Azure Bull Python spoke to Wang Feng. Thank you. Wang Feng smiled and waved his hand. There's no need. I was the one who caused this wound. Besides, Xiao Wu and I are friends. At this point, Wang Fengxin's heart moved slightly. Seeing as I've met De Ming and Er Ming ahead of time, why don't I cultivate in the Great Star Do Forest for a few months? This was a perfect opportunity to spar with Er Ming. Even though he couldn't beat them in a fight, he could at least have a target to practice on, which could stimulate his potential. In addition, the other party was Xiao Wu's friend and wouldn't kill him. He could be considered the perfect target. This was equivalent to a sparring partner for a titled Doulu, and it didn't cost any money. Thinking up to this point, Wang Feng smiled and said to the Titan ape, "Don't worry. Sure, I'll probably stay in the Great Star Do Forest for a few months. If you want to spar with me, then go ahead. But don't be serious." The Titan ape was ecstatic to hear this, and it nodded enthusiastically. If this little fly could withstand his attacks, then he would have a lot of fun beating it up. It would be great if he could stay and play with it. Wang Feng could tell that Er Ming was actually just like Xiao Wu. He seemed to have lived for a very long time, but he was most likely only 16 or 17 years old. In contrast, this Sky Azure Bull Python was a lot more mature. The Sky Azure Bull Python didn't say anything in response. Thus, Wang Feng spent the next few months cultivating in the Great Star Do Forest, fighting the Titan giant ape while cultivating and increasing his soul force. 5 months later, at the center of the Great Star Do Forest, within a lake. "Come out and fight, you little lunatic. I'm going to beat the crap out of you today," the Titan giant ape roared by the lake. Half a year hadn't changed him at all. Right at this moment, the Sky Azure Bull Python emerged from the lake, and said in a low voice, "Er Ming left today." The Titan ape was immediately rooted to the spot upon hearing this. This was because he would come to fight that little lunatic every day around this time, and it could be said that most of the Great Star Do Forest was in chaos. The past half a year had been the most enjoyable half a year he had ever fought. Furthermore, the more he fought, the more Er Ming felt as if his powers had improved slightly. Why did he leave? Er Ming sat down on the ground in a slightly dejected manner. "I didn't hurt him during the past half a year." "You weren't able to hurt him either," the Sky Azure Bull Python replied. The Titan ape smashed 2 craters into the ground with its fists. "I didn't dare to use my full power, but I didn't seem to be able to hurt him either. Big brother, do you think he's really a human? Why do I feel like he's even more resilient than us soul beasts? He's even more resilient than those 60,000-year-old soul beasts." Chapter 290. The Sky Azure Bull Python was silent for a moment. During the past half a year, that young human boy had given him far too many surprises. His martial soul skills, battle experience, and rate of growth had all far exceeded his imagination. In the beginning, the young man had asked Er Ming to unleash his gravity domain at full power, and during the previous month, he had been beaten to a pulp by Er Ming. When Er Ming unleashed his gravity domain at full power, even 80,000 to 90,000 year soul beasts would be forced to lay on the ground and accept his beatings. Er Ming very rarely used his gravity domain against human soul masters, and he had only unleashed a small portion of it during his first battle against the young man. However, during the second month, the young man began to make rapid progress, and he was able to move around freely even in Er Ming's gravity domain at full power. During the third month, Er Ming's gravity domain was completely unstoppable. Later on, the young man had even requested that he use his slowing domain, but the Sky Azure Bull Python had refused. During the past half a year, the young man was still unable to defeat Er Ming, but he was able to last longer and longer, and toward the end, Er Ming had to unleash 70% to 80% of his full power to defeat him. In the beginning, the Sky Azure Bull Python had reprimanded Er Ming for allowing the young man to injure him. However, the young man had said that he had requested it. but he seems to only be a rank 45 human soul master. The Sky Azure Bull Python was rather perplexed. Could it be that the young man had already become this powerful? If so, how were soul beasts supposed to survive in the future? Even a rank 45 human soul master would require Ming to unleash 80% of his full power to defeat him. By the way, he also gave you a present. At this moment, the Sky Azure Bull Python pulled out a huge and thick club that was more than 10 meters long from the lake. What's that? The Titan giant ape's eyes lit up at the sight of the massive club. The club seemed to have been polished and engraved with all types of patterns, and it was quite ancient, and just looking at it made him want to play with it. Ahem, he found this in this lake, then polished it into a giant piece of gold star rock after discussing it with me. He said that he wanted to give you a surprise. The Sky Azure Bull Python said. He said that you're going to like this club very much. The Sky Azure Bull Python then tossed the club toward the Titan giant ape. The Titan giant ape leaped up and caught the staff with both hands. The moment it caught the staff, it was abnormally excited. It was as if he was born to understand, and he began to play with the stick in his hand. It spun with a whirring sound. The shadow of the staff was like a rainbow. His aura skyrocketed. Fun, fun. I love this gift so much. The Titan giant ape was extremely happy. As it played with the stick, it jumped around, causing the ground to tremble. The Sky Azure Bull Python was also looking on in astonishment. He could clearly sense that Ming's aura had swelled drastically as he held onto the staff. This sudden increase in aura brought about a genuine increase in strength. Could it be that Ming was born with an innate talent for playing with sticks? How did that young man know? Big brother, did little madman give this stick a name? The Titan giant ape roared happily. Yes. What's his name? At first, it was called Jingu Bang. Then, it was changed to Heaven Raising Staff. I'll let you choose. I like the Heaven Raising Rod. Heaven Do City. Shrek Academy. Grandmaster Tang was standing in his room, staring out the window into the distance. Beside him, Flender and Lu Erlong were also present. Little gang, these kids have all reached rank 40 recently. It's time for us to take them to obtain their 4th soul rings. Flender suddenly asked, Is there still no news about Lin Feng? 5 months ago, Wang Feng had ventured into the Great Star Do Forest by himself to obtain his 4th soul ring. Only Grandmaster Tang knew about this. However, news of Lin Feng's disappearance naturally couldn't be kept a secret, and Flender and Lu Erlong had also asked about it. Tang San and the others from Shrek also asked about it. Grandmaster Tang shook his head and said, No, but Lin Feng said that he'll come back when the time comes, and that we shouldn't go looking for him. Lu Erlong suddenly rose to her feet upon hearing this, and her brows furrowed. I said that Flender and I should have gone together a month ago. His 4th soul ring is definitely a 30,000-year one. You want a rank 40 soul master to defeat a 30,000-year soul beast? How difficult is that? Lin Feng said that the thorny Xuanwu turtle was about to die from its injuries, and he was frightened by the sword Douluo, so he killed it in the end. His 2nd soul ring was because he saved the soul beast's child, and the soul beast willingly let him absorb it. How can he be so lucky this time? Flender furrowed his brows as he listened. Zhao Wuji was also a little worried when he heard this. Back in the Great Star Do Forest, Lin Feng had been captured by the Titan giant ape, and his life had been hanging by a thread. However, he had obtained a huge opportunity and obtained a 30,000-year soul ring. They all knew about this. However, how could he encounter such an opportunity this time? Trust him, Grandmaster muttered. It's not that we don't trust him, but Lin Feng was able to withstand 2 of Dugu Bo's attacks, and his strength is comparable to that of a rank 60 soul master. His physique isn't inferior to Zhao Wuji's. Lu Erlong said, But don't you know how many soul masters there are in the Great Star Do Forest? It's not difficult for him to kill a 10,000-year soul beast. However, what if he's surrounded? What if he's discovered by those 50,000-year, 70,000-year, or 80,000-year soul beasts? Grandmaster furrowed his brows and remained silent. Lu Erlong's words were also what he was worried about. The great Star Do forest was still too dangerous. With Lin Feng's strength, killing ordinary 10,000-year soul beasts wasn't a problem, and he had a chance to kill those below 20,000 years. However, it would be difficult for him to kill 30,000-year soul beasts, and it would be extremely difficult for him to kill 40,000-year soul beasts. If he encountered 50,000-year or 60,000-year soul beasts, he might not even be able to escape. If he encountered 70,000-year soul beasts, he would only die. Also, you lied to those kids and said that Lin Feng went to cultivate for half a year. It's almost half a year now and Lin Feng still hasn't returned. Flender whispered, "How are you going to tell them?" This problem was even more serious. Tang San and the others all thought that Wang Feng had gone to cultivate. They were all waiting for him to return. Especially those two girls, they often come to ask. One of them is fine, she's too embarrassed to ask so often. Rongrong, that girl, comes to ask me every day. I don't even know how to answer her. Lu Erlong coughed a few times. It's almost half a year now, and they're all at rank 40. We're about to take them to get their 4th soul ring. What should we do if they ask again? The few of them were discussing anxiously. At this moment, a guard suddenly walked into the room. "Grandmaster, there's a letter for you." Grandmaster was stunned when he heard this. He took the letter and quickly read it. After reading it, the Grandmaster slowly folded the letter and revealed a smile on his face. "All right, let the 7 of them gather. There's still half a month before the Advanced Soul Master Tournament begins. Try your best to let each of them obtain a soul ring." Chapter 291. Hearing this, Flender and Lu Erlong were stunned. "What about little Feng? You don't care?" Flender immediately stood up and said in a deep voice, "If you do this, then I'll have to go to the Star Do forest personally. Erlong, you lead the team to protect those 7 children and get their soul rings." Lu Erlong shook her head and said, "Boss Flender, I'm stronger than you. The Star Do forest is much more dangerous than the Sunset Forest. Let me go." Flender, "All right, he's already back." The master smiled mysteriously and said, "Not only is he back, he has also obtained his 4th soul ring, and his level has also increased to rank 45. Hearing this, the room was slightly quiet. Flender and Lu Erlong were also stunned. "What did you say? Rank 45? Flender gasped in shock. "Is it the letter just now?" Lu Erlong glanced at the master and said indifferently. The master nodded and said, "That's right, he told us in the letter that he has returned, and I'll show it to you guys." As he spoke, the master showed the letter to the 3 of them. After reading it, the 3 of them were silent. "He really wants to do this?" Flender thought for a moment and pushed his glasses. "Tang San and the other 7 have improved a lot in the past 6 months. Lu Erlong smiled with a hint of charm. "I think it's quite interesting. Rank 45, unbelievable. Little gang, how old is he this year?" 14. 14 years old, rank 45. Flender sighed softly. On the continent, there shouldn't be many who can reach this level at this age, right? Mu Bai has just reached rank 45. And he is still relying on Little Feng's special placement cultivation method. Otherwise, Mu Bai should still be around rank 44. The initial placement cultivation method was to train and cultivate at the same time to let the body get used to training, and the spirit was to meditate and cultivate. Later on, it was used in various aspects of life. Although the 7 of them still didn't learn it, there were some results. Right, in the letter, it didn't say anything about the soul ring he obtained? Lu Erlong looked at the letter. "According to my calculations." At this moment, the Grandmaster pondered for a moment. "Lin Feng's soul power is special, and his body is also special. I'm afraid it's several times harder for him to increase his soul ring compared to normal soul masters. Being able to increase his soul ring by 5 ranks in half a year means that the quality of his soul ring is very high. According to my estimation, it should be around 40,000 years. Hearing this, the two of them widened their eyes. 40,000 years? He can't possibly kill them, right? Flender couldn't help but say, a 40,000-year ordinary soul beast is equivalent to a soul sage over rank 70. If it's slightly stronger, even Zhao Wuji would be smashed apart. Zhao Wuji, little Feng should be able to kill one that is around 30,000 years old. The Grandmaster glanced at the two of them. 40,000 years old. It requires a certain amount of luck, but it might not be impossible. Kill for 30,000 years? That's equivalent to a rank 70 soul sage. Lu Erlong said in astonishment. However, he was able to withstand Dugubo's palm strike back then. Zhao Wuji, you said that he was able to withstand 100% of the Titan's pressure without dying. His physical body isn't inferior to yours. In fact, it might even be stronger. It's possible to kill a 30,000-year soul beast, but the difference in soul power level is too big after all. It's not that easy, right? Lu Erlong knew that Wang Feng's physique was special, but his soul power level wasn't high after all. How could he kill a soul beast that was so many ranks higher? Killing a soul beast and withstanding its pressure were two different things. 40,000 years was too exaggerated. Even if she faced a 30,000-year soul beast, it would be difficult for her to kill it. 40,000 years was even more difficult. Unless the three of them joined forces to use a martial soul fusion skill, it would be easier to kill it. Soul Masters also need to rely on luck. Don't guess anymore. When you see him, just ask him face to face, the Grandmaster said indifferently. The two of them nodded. After receiving the news that Wang Feng had returned safely, they were relieved. Not long after, in the square, Flender gathered Tang San's team of 7. In nearly half a year, the 7 of them had some changes. On one hand, they had broken through to rank 40. The first to break through was Ning Rongrong. After her martial soul had mutated, her cultivation speed had greatly increased. Furthermore, according to her description, the strength of her body had slowly improved due to the power of the stars in her martial soul and the residual medicinal power. She was now much stronger than ordinary auxiliary-type soul masters. Compared to Oscar, who was also an auxiliary-type soul master, she was even stronger. The second was Zhu Zhuqing. Similarly, after her martial soul mutated, her cultivation speed had greatly increased. Coupled with her diligence, she reached rank 40 the second. The third was Oscar. Oscar's 9th immortal orchid petal and the light golden sausage provided him with an even faster cultivation speed. The three of them reached rank 40 almost every few days. Then it was Tang San, Ma Hongjun. Xiao Wu had reached rank 39 and was still a distance away from rank 40. Speaking of which, it was all thanks to the cultivation method provided by Wang Feng. It had been a year and a half. It allowed them to reach rank 40 more than a month earlier. However, the Grandmaster said that after reaching rank 40, they could continue to cultivate and accumulate soul power. After breaking through, they would improve even more, so they weren't in a hurry to obtain the 4th soul ring. And today, they were finally going to obtain their 4th soul ring. However, because there was one less person this time, the 7 of them were slightly silent. They were mainly worried about Wang Feng. After all, it had been half a year and they hadn't seen a single shadow. Even if the Grandmaster said that he had gone into seclusion to cultivate, there hadn't been any news in this half a year. Today, other than Mu Bai, the rest of you have stabilized at rank 40. It's time to go to the setting sun forest. Flender looked at them and said slowly, "The reason why I want the 7 of you to go together is to let you undergo actual combat training. After all, the Advanced Soul Master Tournament is coming soon. This time, I want to let you obtain your 4th soul ring to train your team. It can also be considered the first stage of your graduation exam." Hearing this, Xiao Wu asked curiously, Dean, how can we be considered to have passed? Do you want the 7 of us to hunt soul beasts? Flender nodded slightly. That's right. This time, you need to rely on the strength of your team to hunt soul beasts. Because the tournament will be held soon, you need to work together as a team, so this is a training for you. You have to hunt soul beasts without the 3 of us doing anything. This is one of the conditions for passing. This one of the conditions immediately made everyone frown. Other than that, Flender looked at everyone and smiled. There is a second condition. For this trip, we have invited a mysterious expert. After you enter the setting sun forest, you will undergo special training. This expert will appear at any time and anywhere to attack you. This is to test your ability to adapt. Hearing this, everyone was surprised, but they could understand. Dean, what is his approximate strength? Ma Hongjun asked curiously. Roughly, a 6-ring soul emperor. The Grandmaster suddenly said. Hearing this, everyone suddenly heaved a sigh of relief. A 6-ring soul emperor wasn't difficult for the 7 of them to deal with. To be precise, it was quite simple. No problem, Ma Hongjun said casually. It's not that easy for a 6-ring soul emperor to attack us Shrek's 7 monsters. Chapter 292. Hearing Ma Hongjun's words, the Dean, Lu Erlong, and Grandmaster looked at each other and saw the smiles in their eyes. There's no requirement? Dai Mubai asked curiously. There is. Lu Erlong smiled and said, he's wearing a mask. If you can remove his mask, you'll be considered to have finished your special training early and pass with special permission. This requirement was considered normal. It was similar to an additional question. If you completed it, you'd get extra points. If you couldn't complete it, it was fine. Flender looked at the 7 of them and continued, All right, this information is enough. You'll have to find out more after entering the setting sun forest. Everyone nodded. However, they couldn't give you any information about this 6-ringed soul emperor. After all, you couldn't know the enemy so well. Grandmaster, when exactly will Brother Feng be back? At this moment, Tang San suddenly asked. He's been cultivating in seclusion for half a year. It's almost time, right? Hearing this, everyone suddenly fell silent. Ning Rongrong looked at the 3 of them impatiently. She wanted to ask just now. He had just cultivated in seclusion for half a year and returned to the academy not long ago. How could he cultivate in seclusion again? The others also looked at Grandmaster curiously. He said he'll be back in a few days. Grandmaster looked at them. He should be back by the time you get your soul rings and return to the academy. Flender, who was at the side, also smiled and said, Maybe you'll meet him when you come back. Grandmaster Flender's words calmed everyone down. Really? Dean? Ning Rongrong was originally a little down, but after hearing the 2's words, she was immediately filled with motivation and her face glowed. Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly, her eyes filled with anticipation. We'll be able to see Brother Feng when he comes back. I wonder where he's been for the past half a year? Xiao Wu swung Tang San's newly combed scorpion braids. Without Captain, I miss the taste of hot sausages. Oscar slurped as if he was reminiscing. Monster Captain should have gotten his 4th soul ring this time, right? Ma Hongjun rubbed his chin as he pondered. When we return, we'll probably obtain our 4th soul ring and become soul ancestors. I wonder if we'll still be able to defeat him then? I haven't fought with Captain in a long time. I miss it. Dai Mubai clenched his fists. Seeing that everyone's interest had suddenly become high, Flender nodded slightly. Well, Tang San, as the commander of the team this time, you'll lead the team. Tang San nodded and immediately began to assign tasks to everyone. This time, they had gone to the setting sun forest to obtain their 4th soul ring. Because everyone had consumed the immortal herb, their physical qualities had been greatly enhanced. he could consider surpassing the age of the soul beast and obtaining a soul ring of about 5,000 years. When the time came, he could then select and absorb it according to the soul beast's age and characteristic. Because of the extra special training, we must be careful. Tang San pondered. Xiao Ao, you must prepare enough of your mushroom sausage for everyone, just in case. First, let's talk about soul beasts. If we encounter a soul beast, the 7 of us will form a very simple team. Mu Bai, Xiao Wu, and I will be in charge of attacking. Zhu Qing will be in charge of restraining it. Hong Jun, you'll be in charge of protecting Rongrong and Oscar from the back and attacking from afar. As for soul beasts, remember not to kill them directly, otherwise we won't be able to choose. If necessary, Oscar, you can also give your sausage to a dying soul beast. Everyone nodded slightly. Another point is the special training for this 6-ringed soul emperor. Tang San looked at everyone and said seriously, since he's a friend invited by Grandmaster, he must not be simple. He might attack us at any time. It could be when we're sleeping, when we're on the road, when we're eating and resting, or even when we're hunting soul beasts. As for the 6-ringed soul emperor, we can't defeat him alone. Plus, we don't know much about him. However, this 6-ringed soul emperor might know a lot about us through Grandmaster, but we know nothing about him. Therefore, we have to be very careful. Hong Jun, don't be careless. Ma Hongjun laughed and said, Brother San, you can even defeat the rank 58 Tinin. You don't have to be so serious, right? Tang San shook his head and said, It's not that simple. I can't defeat a rank 60 Soul Emperor even if I use hidden weapons. Also, I said, what if that 6-ringed Soul Emperor knows a lot about us? If he's prepared for my hidden weapons, we won't have any chance of winning. Hearing this, the smile on Ma Hongjuan's face faded slightly. Tang San's words were very reasonable. What if the other party knew a lot about them through Grandmaster? The 7 of them didn't know anything. After entering the setting sun forest, we have to be very careful. No matter what, we can't act alone. Tang San looked at the 7 of them. At least, we have to act in groups of 2. Xiao Wu and I will be in one group. Xiao Ao, Hong Jun, and Mu Bai, you 3 will be in another group. Zhu Qing and Rongrong will be in another group. Okay. Everyone agreed. After discussing, the group set off for the setting sun forest. Flender looked at the 7 of them and whispered, Xiao Gang, do you think they can take off his mask? It's a little difficult. Let's wait and see. It's been almost half a year and their strength is increasing. Grandmaster pondered for a moment before saying slowly, however, Lin Feng's strength should be increasing even faster. I feel that their only chance to take off his mask. Lu Erlong looked at one of the figures with some deep meaning. Maybe it's on her. The setting sun forest was very close to Heaven Do City. This was also the place where Heaven Do City and the nearby cities hunted soul beasts. Unlike the soul hunting forest, which was controlled by humans, the setting sun forest didn't have powerful soul beasts like the Titan giant ape. However, there were still many 10,000-year soul beasts that weren't easy to deal with. Fortunately, the setting sun forest wasn't as dense as the Great Star Do Forest due to its geographical location. The setting sun forest feels a little weaker than the Great Star Do Forest. The 7 of them didn't encounter many 1,000-year soul beasts along the way. They were slightly weaker than the Great Star Do Forest. Furthermore, the setting sun forest wasn't as big as the Great Star Do Forest. Furthermore, there were many cities around it, and soul beasts were hunted wantonly. The quality of the soul beasts here was naturally much worse than the Great Star Do Forest. At this moment, the sound of fighting could be heard from afar. There seems to be a fight up ahead? Dai Mu Bai was leading the way, and he immediately sensed it. At the same time, Tang San also sensed it. At this time, Zhu Qing landed on a big tree nearby with a swoosh, and her cold voice slowly sounded. Her cold voice rang out, It's people from the other academies in Heaven Do City. They're wearing academy uniforms, and there are 2 guys and 1 girl hunting a soul beast. The situation doesn't look good. She was in charge of scouting, and she immediately went to investigate when she heard the sounds. Should we go and take a look? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Tang San pondered for a moment before saying, let's take a look. We can't act rashly. End of chapter. Chapter 293. The rest of them nodded in agreement. Not long after, they approached the location of the battle. 2 men and a woman were fighting with a giant soul-eating flower. But at this moment, the 2 men had already fallen to the side, leaving only the woman, who was running around in all directions. The 3 of them were wearing the Academy's uniform. It's a 1,000-year soul-eating flower. Tang San took a look and said, this kind of soul beast is more difficult to deal with, but it's also quite strong. It's a pity that it's a 1,000-year one. If it's a 3,000-year or 4,000-year one, it should be more suitable for Zhuqing. Because this soul-eating flower has a special characteristic, as long as it causes injuries to the opponent, it can increase the opponent's soul power consumption. It's very troublesome. Everyone was enlightened. As a soul beast encyclopedia, Tang San explained it clearly. This girl seems to be quite pretty. Suddenly, Ma Hongjuan's eyes lit up as he looked at the girl who was running around. This girl's face was as white as snow, and her long hair fluttered in the wind. Although she was running and looked a little nervous, it couldn't hide her gentle and beautiful temperament. Dai Mubai and Oscar's eyes also lit up. Third brother, let's make a move. Ning Rongrong said, this soul-eating flower isn't strong. Fatty Ma's phoenix is the bane of this kind of plant soul beast. Furthermore, this soul-eating flower is injured now. I'll give Fatty a buff, and he should be able to defeat it in one move. Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing also nodded. Tang San sized up the girl for a while and didn't find anything wrong with her. He smiled at Ma Hongjun and said, Fatty, I'll give you a chance to be a hero and save the beauty. Ma Hongjun was already impatient from waiting. After Ning Rongrong gave him a buff, Ma Hongjun directly rushed out. Phoenix Possession. Ma Hongjun jumped and was extremely excited. He thought to himself, I didn't expect that I, Ma Hongjun, would have a chance to be a hero and save the beauty. The last time was in Soto City, and I wasn't as strong as her. This time, I, Ma Hongjun, finally have a chance to show off my power. He was like a god descending from the heavens as he used his third soul skill, Phoenix Soaring Sky. He flew into the air, and spat out a phoenix fire line that landed directly on the soul-eating flower. Finally, he landed gracefully in front of the woman. Thank you. The woman's soft voice sounded. Hearing this voice, Ma Hongjuan's bones melted. He turned around, intending to get to know her. However, the moment he turned around, what welcomed him was not a woman's gentle and beautiful face, but a huge fist. Bang! With one punch, Ma Hongjun was like a spinning top, flying several rounds in the air. It smashed into a big tree in the distance. Everyone was stunned. At this time, the woman looked at Tang San and the others in the distance and said with a smile, It's you guys, right? You don't even have the slightest bit of vigilance. If I were the enemy today, this fatty would already be dead. Next time, I won't let you off so easily. Her voice was low, elegant, and slightly neutral. After saying that, the woman suddenly vanished on the spot like a gust of wind, causing everyone to be shocked repeatedly. Did you notice it? Dai Mubai's body shrank as he looked at Tang San. No, it was too fast. Silently, Tang San said in a low voice. What's going on? Ning Rongrong was still a little confused. She seemed to have thought of something and suddenly said, Could it be that she's that six-ringed soul emperor? Tang San nodded with a heavy expression. Everyone was slightly stunned. Except for Tang San, they had forgotten about the others. Because this group of people did not encounter any attacks when they came here. They did not expect to encounter her like this. The 6 of them walked to Ma Hongjuan's side. It was only one punch just now, but now Ma Hongjuan's entire face was swollen. After a while, he slowly woke up. What's going on? Ma Hongjun still felt a little confused as he looked at everyone. Tang San said in a low voice, "It should be a trap just now. That 6-ringed Soul Emperor appeared. It's that woman just now. She deliberately tested us, but we didn't notice. We also didn't expect that she would use such a method." What? A 6-ringed Soul Emperor is a woman? Ma Hongjun also remembered and couldn't help but wail, "Why am I always the one who suffers?" She disguised herself too well. Tang San thought for a moment and said in a low voice, "I'm afraid it won't be so easy for us to pass this time. Moreover, I don't think she's a woman. She's just pretending. Otherwise, the master and the dean wouldn't have taken off her mask as the goal to pass the test." Oscar helped Ma Hongjun up and clicked his tongue. "This 6-ringed Soul Emperor is not simple. We have to be more vigilant. I don't know what will happen if we meet him head-on." Tang San looked at Ma Hongjun and sighed. "He took advantage of our kindness. Which normal person would be indifferent when they see a beautiful woman being chased by a soul beast? It's fine if he's not strong, but it's very easy for us. Moreover, I'm afraid he knows you very well. He knows that your soul skill is the most effective against plant-type soul skills. In addition, you're a pervert. When you see such a situation, you'll definitely be the first to save the damsel in distress." "We're still too relaxed." Everyone nodded. "Let's continue. This time, we must not touch others casually." The 7 of them continued to walk forward. The master, Flender, and Lu Erlong followed behind them. "That's Lin Feng?" Lu Erlong said in surprise. "His disguise is too good, right? I didn't even recognize him." The master thought to himself, "Lin Feng's disguise skill is extraordinary. If you didn't recognize him, those 7 children probably didn't either. Ma Hongjun still can't change his personality. I hope we can teach him a good lesson this time." Flender laughed and said, "Let's go. Let's keep up." The sky gradually darkened. Night fell. "Let's find a place to set up the tent. We should stop here for today," Tang San said and glanced at the master and the other 2 behind him. At night in the sunset forest, because the vegetation was not dense, the sky full of stars could be seen. "Wow, come and see. So many beautiful insects." At this time, Xiao Wu's excited voice sounded. Tang San and the other boys looked to the side and saw many insects emitting rainbow-colored light floating in the distance. "Little San, are these insects dangerous?" Dai Mubai looked at them vigilantly. "These are rainbow insects." Tang San shook his head and said, "They belong to the lowest class of soul beasts. They are rarely seen in 100 years. Most of them are more than 10 years old. They are not dangerous and will emit rainbow-colored light in the night sky. Only soul masters with ordinary martial souls will absorb them. They are usually used for household lighting. They are rarely used in big cities. Only soul masters in more remote villages will use them." Hearing Tang San's explanation, the few of them also understood and nodded their heads one after another. "So beautiful." Ning Rongrong grabbed a rainbow insect with her hand, her eyes shining. The others also grabbed one out of curiosity. End of chapter. Chapter 294. Just then. "Brother, I think there are other bugs of different colors." Xiao Wu was very playful. She caught several bugs with one hand. She looked to the other side and saw that there were other bugs of different colors, so she caught several of them with her hand as well. Ning Rongrong also ran over to catch some. Zhu Zhuqing was the most accurate. She caught several bugs in succession and then tied them up in a bag. The bag glowed brightly and looked very beautiful. Oscar also caught several bugs with great interest. He said with a smile, "These bugs are pretty, but aren't they dangerous at all?" In the night sky, these specks of light added a bit of beauty to the scene. "Dangerous?" Tang San was stunned. He thought for a moment and said, If you want to talk about danger, they are, unless… At this point, Tang San suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. He abruptly yelled at Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Rongrong, and Zhuqing, throw out the bugs in your hands. Xiao Wu was stunned. She was about to throw out the beautiful bugs she caught in the bag. The next moment, the bugs in her bag were gone. Boom! There was a burst of intense light. The bags in which Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing had caught the bugs also burst into bursts of light. The light emitted by the fog was unusually dazzling. There seemed to be a special kind of mist in the fog that was extremely unpleasant to the nose. It caused the expressions of these people to change drastically. A wave of nausea swept over them, and their bodies became weak. Danger! Tang San was the closest. As soon as he finished speaking, he ran toward Xiao Wu. As for Oscar, Dai Mubai, and Ma Hongjun, they subconsciously closed their eyes under the intense light. Tang San immediately activated his purple demon eyes. He didn't close his eyes. However, the moment he activated his purple demon eyes, he barely caught a glimpse of a ghostly figure darting through the crowd. Swoosh! Swoosh! Bang! 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 Except for Tang San, the others seemed to be sent flying by a huge force and fell to the ground. Bang! In Tang San's purple demon eyes, his opponent's figure completely disappeared. Then, a huge force attacked him from behind. It was too fast. Tang San had just released his blue-silver grass and hadn't even activated his martial soul when he felt a terrifying force send him flying from behind. It landed on the ground with a loud thud. Before the light mist dissipated, the 7 of them had already fallen to the ground. His vigilance is still too weak. The 7 of you are too weak. A cold sneer seemed to come from all directions. That's it. Don't talk about taking off my mask. You can't even touch my shadow. As soon as he finished speaking, the light mist was quickly blown away by a huge ball of energy. It was Flender and the other 2. However, the figure had already disappeared. Are the 7 of you all right? Zhao Wuji looked at them and couldn't help but smile. The 7 of them were lying on the ground in 7 or 8 different directions, with footprints all over their bodies. His nose was bruised and his face was a little red. Tang San was the first to wake up. His face was even more serious. He rubbed the back of his shoulder and felt that it was still a little painful. Not long after, the others slowly got up from the ground. Brother, what happened just now? Xiao Wu rubbed her lower abdomen. She had been kicked and was sent flying. Ning Rongrong also got up. Her face was covered in dust and there was a footprint on her butt. Zhu Zhuqing was fine, but there was a footprint on her back. F***CK. I didn't even have time to react before I was sent flying by a huge force. Ma Hongjun rubbed his right shoulder. Oscar and Dai Mubai also stood up. Their faces were a little ugly. They had heard the cold sneer very clearly. It's the rainbow light bug and the green firefly. Tang San coughed a few times and sighed softly. These 2 types of soul beasts are very weak. Most of them are a few years old or a dozen years old. It's usually not easy to distinguish them. They are very weak. Ordinary people can kill them. One of them is not dangerous. But if they come into contact with each other, there will be an intense light fog that will cause us to temporarily lose our vision. If we don't use our martial souls in advance, it's very easy to get hit. There will also be an extremely smelly fog in this light fog that will affect people's minds. It's a very obscure knowledge about soul beasts. If Oscar hadn't asked me in advance, I wouldn't have thought of it. After hearing this, everyone fell silent. These 2 types of insects are very beautiful at night. That 6-ringed soul emperor knew that Xiao Wu and the other 2 girls would definitely collect these insects. Tang San sighed and said, once he collected them, the 2 types of insects will come into contact with each other, and there will definitely be a light fog. We were very close to each other, so we were all hit. He waited for an opportunity to strike, and without using any strength, He knocked us all down. If it was an enemy just now, we would all be dead. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts. Not only is this six-ringed Soul Emperor terrifying, but he also has all kinds of trap. Tang San also felt a chill in his heart. Actually, in that state just now we still had the ability to fight back, but he was really too fast. I'm afraid he's an agility-type Soul Master. I opened my eyes just now, but I didn't see his specific appearance clearly. I could only hear his voice. After hearing Tang San's words, the other 6 people suddenly felt a little scared. Master, who is this friend of yours? Is he so powerful? Ma Hongjun rubbed his face. He had not recovered from the punch in the afternoon. His old injuries had not healed, and now there were new injuries. Especially these injuries, they were not fatal, but they were painful. What? Now you know how powerful he is? Flender couldn't help but laugh. Before coming, who said that it's not that easy for a mere 6-ringed Soul Emperor to attack us Shrek's 7 monsters? Ma Hongjun. You guys, this is the second time. Lu Erlong shook her head and said, but you don't even know his specific appearance. His size, his clothes, and his specific strength, you don't know anything. If you want to take off his mask in this state, it should be possible in your dreams. The master also looked at them and said, you can apply to lower the requirements, to take off the mask and reduce it to seeing the other party's specific appearance or forcing the other party to use a soul skill. You'll pass the test. Everyone fell silent. Before coming, everyone was full of confidence. Although a 6-ringed Soul Emperor was powerful, they were a rank 40 team and the Golden Battle Soul team. Their strength had increased greatly now. How could they be afraid of a 6-ringed Soul Emperor? But they didn't expect that after 2 confrontations, they couldn't even see the other party's specific appearance. How could they play like this? Alright, let's rest first. You guys can arrange for your own people to guard the night. Flender coughed a few times and walked into the tent with Zhao Wuji. Mu Bai and I will guard the night. Tang San's expression was incomparably solemn. I'm afraid one person is not enough. When it's time to rotate, let's also form a team of 2. This 6-ringed Soul Emperor is much more difficult to deal with than those 10,000-year soul beasts. We can't continue like this. End of this chapter. Chapter 295. Why didn't he attack us openly? Ma Hongjun couldn't help but mutter. There are 7 of us. Do you think he's stupid to attack you openly? Xiao Wu glared at Ma Hongjun. Ma Hongjun chuckled and walked into the tent. Oscar gave them the mushroom sausages and grilled sausages and walked into the tent as well. Brother, I'll go too. Xiao Wu whispered. No need. Xiao Wu, you go to sleep. Tang San shook his head. This 6-ringed Soul Emperor is too powerful. Save your energy. Not only do we have to face soul beasts, but this 6-ringed Soul Emperor is probably our biggest enemy. Xiao Wu nodded and walked into the tent. I feel a little defeated. Dai Mu Bai was beside the bonfire. I feel like we're already very strong. Although the other party is in the dark, we feel like we're completely under his control. The enemy is in the dark, while we're in the light. He's Master's friend, so his understanding of soul beasts and martial souls is definitely better than ours. Tang San pondered. We can only force him to fight with us openly. Only then will we have a chance to pass the special training test. If only I reacted in time. Dai Mubai patted Tang San's shoulder and said, Don't belittle yourself. If it were me, the situation would be worse. Tang San nodded slightly and suddenly thought, if Brother Feng was here, what would he do? Dai Mubai shook his head. How would he know? But he wouldn't be so passive, right? With that monster captain's ability, at this moment in another tent. This kid is really powerful. Zhao Wuji whispered. The 7 of them must have suffered a big blow, right? Speaking of which, we didn't see his face. Doesn't this mean that his attack and disguise are very good? Flender said with a smile. The 2 of them chatted. At this moment, they suddenly heard a rustling sound from the side. Erlong, don't be like this, I don't care. I've waited for more than 10 years. You got my body, but you can't get my heart. We're siblings. You can't do this. I don't care. I've held it in for more than 10 years. I don't want your heart, I want your body. Xiao Gang, stop torturing us. It's been so many years. Can't you release your heart? Zhao Wuji and Flender. Zhao Wuji, turn off your hearing ability. Flender moved closer to Zhao Wuji and tapped his body a few times. He didn't want to listen to a sex scene. Flender, what kind of rotten idea is this? Zhao Wuji also tapped on his body a few times and quickly shut off his hearing. In the past 6 months, the Master and Lu Erlong could only be said to have barely recovered their relationship, but the two of them had never been close. But Master had always been hiding, and Lu's had never had a chance. That was the reason for tonight's scene. Erlong, let me, I'm T. How am I supposed to turn around and look at you if I don't? Fortunately, Flender and Zhao Wuji had both turned off their hearing and couldn't see or hear anything. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in such an ambiguous position right now. Outside, Tang San had a serious expression on his face as he stared at the enormous soul beast in front of him. It had the appearance of a scorpion, and its entire body was snow white. The scorpion tail on its back had a total of 9 segments that were raised up high and emitted an intense cold light. At the end of its tail was a fiery red hook. Almost immediately, Dai Mubai rushed forward to face the flames spewing out from the tail hook. King of the Earth! I didn't expect to encounter such a soul beast tonight. Tang San whispered. At this moment, Shrek and the others in the tent quickly walked out and looked at the soul beast. Brother? What's going on? Is this the work of that 6-ringed soul emperor? Xiao Wu walked to Tang San and asked. Tang San shook his head. I don't know. What soul beast is this? Ma Hongjun looked at it. Should we go? King of the Earth. It's a fire-type high-grade soul beast. This King of the Earth is about 4,500 years old. It's quite suitable for you, Fatty Ma. Tang San thought for a while and said, Let's go. That 6-ringed soul emperor shouldn't attack us today. Everyone nodded. Just as they were about to attack, at this moment, a figure rushed out from another tent and charged towards the King of the Earth. That manic figure made them stop in their tracks almost instantly. It's Teacher Erlong. Xiao Wu exclaimed. Why do I feel that something is wrong? Everyone looked over and felt their hearts tremble. Although Lu Erlong's clothes were a little messy, she seemed to have gone crazy as she rushed towards the King of the Earth. There was a hint of madness on her face, which made everyone tremble in fear. Her 7 soul rings suddenly lit up, and a fire dragon emerged from her body. Dense scales instantly covered her entire body, and she let out a dragon's roar that woke up the pitch-black night sky. Martial Soul True Body? Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect Lu Erlong to use her Martial Soul True Body to deal with a 4,000-year King of the Earth. Isn't that too terrifying? Dai Mubai was sent flying by the King of the Earth's fire pillar. He was in a daze as he watched Lu Erlong use her Martial Soul True Body to rush towards the King of the Earth. After using her Martial Soul True Body, Lu Erlong's strength increased exponentially. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts as they watched this scene. The King of Earth was brutally beaten by Lu Erlong, who had activated her Martial Soul True Body. As the King of the Earth, it wasn't weak. Even if it encountered Tang San and the rest, it wouldn't be difficult for it to escape. Unfortunately, he was targeted by Lu Erlong, who had activated her Martial Soul True Body. If it had 10 to 20,000 years, it might be able to fight. Even if it couldn't win, it could still escape. Unfortunately, it was only a 4,000-year King of the Earth. In Lu Erlong's hands, its scorpion tail was grabbed and smashed into the ground like a windmill. At this moment, suddenly, a pink fog began to spread in the surroundings. This fog came extremely quickly and instantly filled the entire camp. You guys be careful. This fog might be poisonous. Flender and Zhao Wuji, who had just come out of the tent, shouted. As they spoke, they felt that something was wrong. They quickly used their soul power to disperse the pink poisonous fog. However, it didn't take long for the pink poisonous mist to converge again. This pink mist was slightly fragrant and sweet, making people feel immersed in it. Even their blood flowed faster. Be careful. This isn't ordinary miasma. Oscar, detoxifying sausage. Tang San's purple demon eyes scanned the surroundings, and he was slightly shocked. When they entered the forest, in order to prevent the miasma in the forest, he gave them miasma pills that could prevent the miasma. However, they couldn't stop this pink fog. It seemed that the king of the earth wasn't acting alone. It had companions. Not long after, under the surveillance of his purple demon eyes, Tang San saw a pink scorpion in the distance, using its tail to emit a pink fog. Chapter 296. It's a soul beast. It seems like the king of the earth isn't the only one. Teacher Lu, be careful. Don't breathe in this fog. Tang San's blue-silver grass quickly spread in all directions as he sensed the number of soul beasts around them. He was also shocked. These two soul beasts seemed to be working together. It might not be a coincidence. Could it be that six-ringed soul emperor? Everyone, activate your martial souls. That six-ringed soul emperor might be coming. Tang San warned them. Even without his reminder, the rest of them had already activated their martial souls. They were evidently a little fearful, and were very cautious. When Tang San saw this, he quickly took out the delicate silk immortal that he had plucked from the ice-fire yin-yang well. The light purple stamen was like a brick, emitting a shiny luster. Almost at the instant it appeared, it emitted a purple air current, quickly driving away the surrounding pink fog. This item could defend against poison, and was the nemesis of this pink fog. Everyone, don't leave this place. Dean, Master, Teacher Zhao, come over too. Tang San said in a deep voice. This pink fog was created by a soul beast. I didn't expect the king of the earth to be alone. It probably has companions. Master, ask Teacher Lu to come back quickly. If she continues to fight like this, she might go crazy if she absorbs the fog. Master frowned slightly and shouted at Lu Erlong, who was still beating the king of the earth. Erlong, come back. Right now, the king of the earth was still breathing, and its body was still intact. If this continued, its entire body would probably be torn apart by Lu Erlong. When Lu Erlong heard this, she snorted coldly. She looked at the king of the earth, who was still alive, and returned to Master's side. However, her expression was very bad, and she was furious. Master, can your soul emperor's friend even control soul beasts? Ma Hongjun wiped his cold sweat. Master shook his head and said, not necessarily. The two soul beasts might have come over by themselves. When she heard this, Lu Erlong's expression turned even worse. Teacher, the one who released the pink fog should be the Pink Lady. Tang San said softly at this moment. Pink Lady, what's that? Xiao Wu asked curiously. It's also a scorpion-type soul beast, similar to the king of the earth. It's a poisonous soul beast, but its poison is very weak. It's usually pink all over, so it's called the Pink Queen. Master frowned and said, there's so much fog. I'm afraid it can't be a Pink Lady. Yes? Not just one. Tang San looked around. I'm afraid there are thousands of them. I didn't expect them to appear here. But I didn't sense the aura of that six-ringed soul emperor. I wonder if he did this? When they heard the number of thousands, they were stunned. If it's really him, I'll have to teach you a lesson later. Lu Erlong's complexion turned somewhat ugly. He thought to himself, if Lin Feng really is the one who ordered these soul beasts to interrupt me, then whether it's a coincidence or not, I'll beat you up. If it's thousands of them, then I'm afraid the Pink Queen is among them. Master was silent for a moment and said, Only this kind of pink queen that mutated from the pink lady can control so many pink ladies. The pink queen is usually at least 3,000 years old, and it has to devour 100 of its kind to evolve and mutate. According to my guess, I'm afraid the pink queen and the king of the earth are a pair, which is why they attacked together. Tang San pondered and said, the poisonous fog released by the pink queen can make people go crazy. This kind of soul beast is a good match for Oscar. And that king of the earth should be the most suitable for Fatty. That king of the earth has an extremely tenacious vitality. What a pity! Master sighed and said, I'm afraid this pink queen wants to create a chance for the king of the earth to escape. I don't think it wants to attack us. When everyone heard this, they were enlightened. I'll rush out and kill these 2 soul beasts. Oscar, give me 2 antidote sausages. Lu Erlong said coldly without any fear. It's night now, and the poisonous fog covers a huge area. It won't be easy to find the pink queen in such a short time. If we meet other soul beasts, it will be even more troublesome. Tang San suggested, Teacher Lu, let's wait for daybreak. The pink queen only wants to cover the king of the earth's escape. It won't attack us first. Moving at night was the most dangerous, because they didn't know what kind of soul rings they would encounter, and because their vision was limited, it would be very troublesome if they were entangled. In addition, everyone was tired after rushing for a day. No, I can't let this beast leave like this. If we wait until daybreak, we won't be able to find it at all. Lu Erlong said angrily. Dai Mubai and the rest were frightened. They didn't know what happened to make Lu Erlong so angry. Little 3 is right. Erlong, don't let your emotions affect your decisions, Master said in a deep voice. Even if it's not dangerous to the 3 of us, what if something happens to the 7 of them? I'll go alone. Lu Erlong glanced at Oscar. Oscar was quick-witted. He didn't know if he should make small sausages for Lu Erlong. Erlong, what little gang said makes sense. Flender coughed a few times and advised, the sausages won't last long. If you chase after it alone, you will feel very uncomfortable if you inhale the fog for a long time. If you meet other soul beasts, it will be very dangerous. If we are attacked by other 10,000-year soul beasts, the situation will be even worse. These soul beasts were quite cunning. They didn't move alone, but moved together. Lu Erlong didn't say anything. Right at this moment, suddenly, the pink poisonous fog dissipated at a speed visible to the naked eye. Everyone was shocked. Following that, they saw a figure slowly walking over from afar. He was wearing a white robe and a black mask. His body was well proportioned. The most important thing was that he was carrying 2 incomparably huge soul beasts in his hands, which were completely incompatible with his body size. Seeing this, everyone was stunned. He walked over from the shadows, and everyone could see the 2 soul beasts in his hands very clearly. One of them was the king of earth that Lu Erlong was infuriated by but managed to escape in time. The other soul beast was pink all over and was about the same size as the king of earth. Its entire body looked like it was carved out of crystal, and there were 6 eyes on its head. It was the pink goddess. The pink poisonous fog that dissipated was also emitted by her. However, these 2 soul beasts weren't dead yet. They only had a single breath left. This mysterious white-robed and black-masked figure walked to 10 meters away from them and suddenly placed the 2 soul beasts in his hands on the ground. They smashed into the ground with a dull thud. Don't chase after them. I brought these 2 soul beasts back for you. Little fatty, didn't you want Tang Tang to really attack you? That figure let out a cold sneer. I'll give you a chance now. If the 7 of you can touch the corner of my clothes before you fall, I'll give these 2 soul beasts to you. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. They didn't expect these 2 soul beasts to be caught unknowingly. It's that 6-ringed soul emperor. Tang San's words instantly caused the other 6 people to regain their senses. Chapter 297. After regaining their senses, the 6 of them suddenly became nervous. Among them, Ma Hongjun was the most nervous. Could he have been nearby the whole time and heard our conversation? Ma Hongjun stared at the figure in front of him. He remembered clearly what he had said just now. He didn't expect the other party to really appear. They had fought twice, although the other party had set a trap for them each time. The 7 of them couldn't handle it either. But now, the other party had appeared directly with 2 soul beasts that they needed. Flender, didn't you notice him just now? Zhao Wuji whispered. I didn't notice anything at all. This was a little scary. He was a soul sage over rank 70, and Flender's 4-eyed cat eagle should have a clearer perception. If he didn't know. Flender shook his head and looked at Lu Erlong. Don't look at me. I didn't notice it either, Lu Erlong said indifferently. Lu Erlong's words immediately shocked Zhao Wuji and Flender. Because among them, Lu Erlong was the strongest. If even she didn't notice it, it meant that, little gang, is he really Lin Feng? Flender pushed his glasses. No matter how strong Lin Feng was, it was impossible for them to not notice him, right? To be able to hear Ma Hongjuan's conversation just now meant that he was definitely nearby. It should be him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have captured these 2 soul beasts. He might have obtained some kind of aura-concealing soul skill. The master shook his head and said, I don't know what kind of soul skill he has. It's so powerful that even you guys can't detect it. To be able to make a soul sage unable to detect his surroundings, this soul skill was probably not ordinary. So now, let's just watch? Zhao Wuji scratched his head. Then let's watch. Lu Erlong walked to the side, still emitting a cold aura. It's a good opportunity to see their strength. Seeing this, Flender also sat to the side and narrowed his eyes. If you can touch the corner of his clothes before falling to the ground, you'll lose. From his tone, it's definitely Lin Feng. But it's a little big. It was more than big. The 7 of them looked at the mysterious 6-ringed Soul Emperor in a white robe and black mask, and a faint anger arose in their hearts. Then let's try. Tang San took a deep breath and said, if it's a head-on battle, we have a chance of winning. According to the Grandmaster, the special training of a 6-ringed Soul Emperor would attack them at any time. However, the previous 2 encounters were all trap. Especially the last time, it could be said to be an extremely cunning trap, which led to the instant annihilation of the entire team. If it was a head-on confrontation, then the 7 of them had a very high chance of winning. Moreover, the other party's request was so low. Even a soul Douluo wouldn't dare to claim that they wouldn't even be able to touch the corners of their clothes in the face of their combined attacks. Most importantly, there were 2 soul beasts. There was a great need for them. They would definitely win. Are you ready? The mysterious man's voice was cold and emotionless. The opponent is an agility-type Soul Emperor. It will be very fast, so be careful. The blue-silver grass in Tang San's hand rose up, and countless tendrils wrapped around the other 6 people's waists. Attack! The moment Tang San's voice fell, all 7 of them moved. Bind! Tang San's soul skill was the fastest. He needed to test the strength of this 6-ringed Soul Emperor for the first time. Dai Mubai's white tiger possession suddenly expanded, and a platinum light flashed as he rushed towards the mysterious man. Xiao Wu borrowed Tang San's hands and jumped into the air, attacking the mysterious man. A purple light flashed, and Zhu Zhuqing, who was the fastest, was the first to arrive in front of the mysterious man. Her martial soul had evolved into a Yue elf, and her speed was not inferior to that of a rank 40 agility-type soul master. Her purplish-gold claws drew a cold arc in the dark night sky, attacking the mysterious man. However, the mysterious man didn't dodge. Her claws instantly landed on the mysterious man's mask. Zhu Zhuqing was stunned. She fell for it so easily? However, when she touched the mask, Zhu Zhuqing felt a chill in her heart, and a dangerous aura rose from the bottom of her heart. The mutated Yue elf actually had an extremely special effect. That was, her strength would increase by 50% at night. It could be said that at night, she was the strongest out of the 7. Even if Tang San didn't use hidden weapons and the 8 spider spear, he wouldn't be able to defeat her. Be careful. That's an afterimage. Suddenly, Tang San shouted in a low voice. Unfortunately, the speed of sound seemed to be slower than the opponent's movement speed. When Zhu Zhuqing's claws touched the mask, she knew that the opponent wasn't in the same place at all. It was just an afterimage created by moving too fast. Behind, an afterimage appeared. Bang! A palm strike instantly sent Zhu Zhuqing flying to the 2 soul beasts behind her. Tang San's blue-silver grass wrapped around her waist couldn't even react in time. Too fast. Tang San murmured, this is already beyond our reaction speed. Zhu Zhuqing's speed and reaction speed are already very fast at night. That palm strike just now, Zhu Qing's eyes only turned back slightly, and she was hit. Be careful of his speed. Tang San's 3rd layer of purple demon eyes scanned the surroundings again, trying to see the opponent's figure clearly. But even with the 3rd layer of purple demon eyes, he could barely see the afterimage left behind by the opponent. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this time, Ning Rongrong's 9 treasure star-glazed pagoda slowly lit up, and several rays of light fell on the 3 of them. Just now, Zhu Zhuqing was too fast, and Ning Rongrong's incantation didn't finish before she was sent flying. At this time, Ning Rongrong's buff fell on them. The 9 treasure star-glazed pagoda's group buff was very terrifying. From rank 30 to rank 40, the buff of each soul skill increased by 10%. After the mutation, the buff of each soul skill reached a terrifying 70%. The further they went, the more exaggerated the buff was. This was the buff of a normal rank 77 treasure glazed pagoda soul master. Several rays of light fell on them. They also fell on Zhu Zhuqing, who was a bit far away. In the next moment, their strength soared several times. Bind! After receiving the buff, Tang San felt that his purple demon eyes became clearer and brighter, and he could barely catch the opponent's figure. Mubai, be careful behind you! Just as he finished speaking. Unfortunately, although Tang San's warning was timely, he was still a beat too late. White Tiger Protective Barrier. Almost at the same instant Tang San's voice rang out, Dai Mubai unleashed his soul skill, and his entire body lit up with a faint barrier of light. Bang! In the next moment, the light barrier broke. The huge force directly sent Dai Mubai flying and smashing towards Tang San in the distance. Seeing this, Tang San quickly used his blue-silver grass to catch Dai Mubai. Xiao Wu, be careful! Just as he caught Dai Mubai, Tang San suddenly shouted. I feel it, brother! He's on my right! In midair, Xiao Wu used her soft body to bend into a U-shape, dodging the kick that came whistling through the air. This kick almost brushed past her lower abdomen. But before Xiao Wu could feel lucky, she saw the other party's leg turn in the air and stomp down. Dong! Xiao Wu's lower abdomen was kicked and she was sent flying again. Fortunately, the other party's strength was reduced by half because of the sharp turn. Plus, the blue-silver grass at her waist helped her block most of the impact. At the last moment, when the other party's leg touched her lower abdomen, Xiao Wu used teleportation and only took a small part of the impact, barely allowing her to land on the ground. End of chapter. Chapter 298. Fatty. Use that move. Tang San broke out in a cold sweat. The other party was too fast, there was no way he could warn them in time. In the face of absolute speed, unless one had an absolute defense, it was impossible to block the other party's attack. But the other party's strength was not weak either. Was this the speed of a rank 60 agility-type Soul Emperor? How could he be so fast? Impossible, he hadn't even used his martial soul yet. And his soul ring? This kind of suppression was unreasonable. Blue-silver grass. Tang San clenched his fist, and the countless blue-silver grass that he had prepared quickly interweaved in the air to form a giant net in front of everyone. The other party was too fast, so he could only create this kind of terrain to reduce the other party's speed. Furthermore, the other party was wearing a white robe, which was very eye-catching in the dark night, greatly reducing the difficulty of their defense. This was also the key point that Tang San's purple demon eyes could detect the other party's figure. If the other party's entire body was pitch black, it would be difficult to merge with the night. The sky was filled with blue-silver grass, and if the other party wanted to attack, they could only cut off the blue-silver grass. As long as everything was cut off, Tang San could instantly detect the other party's position and prepare to defend or attack in advance. But using blue-silver grass like this consumed too much soul power. At this moment, the giant net of blue-silver grass in one direction was quickly broken. "Found you!" Tang San looked in that direction and saw a white figure cutting off his blue-silver grass net at an extremely fast speed. Phoenix Fireline! A pillar of fire immediately shot in that direction. In the giant net formed by the blue-silver grass, the speed was greatly restricted. If one wanted to move, they had to cut off the blue-silver grass first. Otherwise, they would be entangled. The pillar of fire quickly shot in that direction, and the blue-silver grass quickly burned. White Tiger Meteor Shower. At this moment, Dai Mubai also stood up, and a burst of aura erupted from his body. Countless golden light spots appeared around him, and then suddenly blasted in the direction of the flames. This was his fourth soul skill, a large-scale Yoi soul skill. Every light spot could cause 1/10 of his strength to the enemy. At this moment, the other party was finally trapped. Naturally, he had to attack with all his strength. Countless specks of light shot towards the location of the flames like tongues of fire. Amidst the explosion of the light spots, the flames burned fiercely. There seemed to be no blind spots. The soaring flames and explosions had completely awakened the dark night. "Quick, eat some grilled sausages." Oscar tossed them a few grilled sausages. All of these moves consumed a great deal of soul power. He should be injured, right? Boss Dai's White Tiger Meteor Shower will produce a violent explosion in the flames, and its power will increase by a level. Xiao Wu gasped for breath as she stared ahead in bewilderment. His reaction was quite fast. When Tang San discovered it, the Phoenix Fireline had instantly ignited the area. In addition to the White Tiger Meteor Shower, there were no blind spots. Zhu Zhuqing also walked over from afar and watched with a grave expression. Tang San was the one who came up with this technique to deal with enemies who were too fast. Against this kind of enemy, single-target attacks were almost useless because they could not hit their target. His pure speed would render any single-target soul skills useless. Just like just now, Zhu Zhuqing was the first to go up, but she could only touch an afterimage, and was sent flying in a single exchange. If not for Xiao Wu's teleportation skill and her quick reaction at the critical moment, she would probably have ended up the same. Even if she used teleportation, she would still be slower than the other party. Obviously, they could only use this special method. First, they used Tang San's blue-silver grass net to detect the other party's general direction and created a large area of flames. Coupled with the enhancement from the White Tiger Meteor Shower, the entire place was ignited. But Tang San felt a little uneasy as he watched. Suddenly, a sinister voice sounded from behind them. "What are you looking at?" Hearing this, almost at the next moment, the 8 spider spears appeared behind Tang San's back. Countless blue-silver grass rushed towards the back crazily. The rest of them instantly scattered and did not even look back. It was extremely terrifying. Void Realm. At this moment, the mysterious man muttered. The next moment, it was as if he had entered a frozen space. His eyes flashed with a sharp light, and the 7 people's movements seemed to have slowed down tenfold. First, he grinned, then slowly walked forward and attached the blue-silver grass to Ningrongrong's body. Then, he walked in front of Oscar, took the 2 mushroom sausages in his mouth, and stuck them into his nose. Then, he pushed Ma Hongjun down from the air, and it just so happened that he touched one of Tang San's 8 spider spears. Dai Mubai, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing all at once. He bound the blue-silver grass to their feet. All of this happened in a fraction of a second. In the void realm state, his senses were 10 times stronger, which was equivalent to his opponents being 10 times slower. But this required a high level of physical fitness. Otherwise, it was impossible to enter. This was his greatest achievement in the past 6 months in the Great Star Do Forest. The growth of the Void Realm. After leaving the Void Realm, the surroundings quickly returned to normal. Then, a strange scene occurred. Ning Rongrong was bound by the blue-silver grass like a big dumpling. Oscar's face turned red, and he pulled out the mushroom sausages from his nose and gasped for breath. Ma Hongjun let out a blood-curdling scream because his arm was once again pierced by Tang San's 8 spider spear. Xiao Wu, Dai Mubai, and Zhu Zhuqing were tripped by the blue-silver grass under their feet. The 7 people were in a mess. Only Tang San was barely standing, and he looked around in confusion. The 4 people who were watching from the sidelines also widened their eyes in shock. This is... Lu Erlong, who had been fuming with anger, looked on in horror. Even the anger she had just felt had vanished. From her point of view, she could only see the white figure shuttling back and forth between the 7 of them as if it had turned into a ray of light. Then, this happened. "He's too fast," Flender said in a low voice. He completed these movements in an instant to make them attack each other. Is this also a special soul skill? I remember that Douluo has a similar time freeze soul skill that can achieve a similar effect. But that's his 8th soul skill. No, was it time freeze just now? He was too fast. Lu Erlong shook her head. If it was an area of effect soul skill like time freeze, we would have felt it, but we didn't feel it just now. This is more like a special battle state. Lu Erlong, known as the Slaughter Horn, was the one who had experienced the most battles among the 3. She could vaguely understand this special situation, but she wasn't completely sure. If they were like this, Tang San and the others were even more so. When they came to their senses, "Third brother, how did your blue-silver grass trap me?" "Tang San, how did your 8 spider spears hurt me?" "It hurts so much." "Who stuffed my mushroom sausages up my nose?" "Brother, why did you use your blue-silver grass to trap my and Zhuqing's feet?" End of chapter. Chapter 299. Tang San looked at the people lying on the ground and was stunned. When he came back to his senses, the corners of his mouth twitched. What happened just now? As if thinking of something, Tang San sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at the white figure standing elegantly on the blue-silver grass in the distance. "Not bad. Your cooperation is very good, but it's still very weak. Although you didn't touch my clothes, I'll give you 2 soul beasts. It won't be so simple next time." Ha! The white figure suddenly disappeared in the air, coming and going without a trace. After a long while, they barely got up, and Tang San quickly sucked the poison out of the 8 spider spear for Ma Hongjun. The group looked at each other. "What happened just now?" Ma Hongjun muttered. "How did I fall on your 8 spider spear in the blink of an eye, Tang San? Yeah, you even tied me up with your blue-silver grass?" Ning Rongrong was also very angry. Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, and Dai Mubai also walked over, and their expressions were not good. Tang San said in a deep voice, "Just now, that 6-ringed Soul Emperor changed our posture. He suddenly appeared behind us, and I'm afraid he used some kind of special soul skill that can make him as fast as lightning. In an instant, he changed our posture and caused this effect." Hearing this, everyone was stunned. When there's a huge difference in speed and perception between us, to him, we're still. Zhu Zhuqing seemed to understand and whispered, "When I attacked him just now, I had this feeling." Yes, that's what it means. Tang San shook his head and said, the difference in strength is too obvious. How can a rank 60 agility type Soul Emperor be so exaggerated? Unless it's some kind of special mutated martial soul. When Fatty's Phoenix Fireline landed on my blue-silver grass net, he probably disappeared and appeared behind us in the dark. Hearing this, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. At this time, Flender and the others also came over. Teacher, your friend? What martial soul is it? Tang San couldn't help but ask. I've never seen such a six-ringed Soul Emperor. I've never seen him use his martial soul, not even his soul rings. Grandmaster remained silent and did not reply. Alright, you guys. Oscar, Fatty, hurry up and kill those two soul beasts so that you can absorb their soul rings. Before it gets dark. Flender said indifferently, why are you asking so much? We don't know either. Why are you asking us what we have? Zhao Wuji thought to himself. Lin Feng, that brat, seemed to have become even stronger. The seven of them remained silent and didn't say anything. This battle could be said to have ended very quickly. Furthermore, it ended with a crushing defeat. The seven of them believed that even Dean Flender or Lu Erlong would not be able to do this. Of course, this was partly because he knew nothing about the other party. But more importantly, there was a huge gap between their strength. Seeing that they were three teachers, Oscar and Ma Hongjun could only absorb the soul rings. These two soul beasts were the most suitable for the two of them. This six-ringed Soul Emperor is really strong. Ning Rongrong patted her shoulder. With the help of the blue-silver grass, Ning Rongrong's body still felt a little weak. Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu also walked into the tent and planned to rest. Although this battle was short, it was too tiring. I didn't expect Grandmaster to have such a powerful friend. Xiao Wu rubbed her feet. Just now, she was tripped by the blue-silver grass. The three of them had maintained an extremely fast momentum. Suddenly, they were tied up by the blue-silver grass and their feet turned red. Zhu Zhuqing also rubbed her feet. Under the huge pulling force, even a soul master's body would feel pain. But those two soul beasts seemed to be a little different. Zhu Zhuqing rubbed her feet while recalling the special wounds she found in front of the two soul beasts. She fell into deep thought. If only Wang Feng was here. Ning Rongrong said with anticipation, if he was here, we wouldn't have lost so miserably, right? When we return to the academy, we can see Wang Feng. This was what she was looking forward to the most, even more than obtaining a soul ring. If it's Brother Feng, I don't think it's possible. I feel that this six-ringed Soul Emperor is very strange. Xiao Wu shook her head and said, his various designs obviously know us very well. I guess Grandmaster told him all our information, but none of us have met him yet. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing opened her mouth and said, after half a year of cultivation, he should be stronger. Xiao Wu was stunned and nodded. That seems to be the case. Let's rest first. Right now we only need Zhuqing, Rongrong, and Brother's soul rings. The three of them talked in the tent. In the campfire outside, Zhao Wuji and the others were also talking. The night gradually passed. The seven of us have become a lot stronger. In the night sky, a white figure took off his mask and looked at the full moon in the sky. You can even make me use the evolved void realm. A hint of a smile appeared on Wang Feng's face. After half a year of cultivation in the Great Star Do Forest, his soul power had just barely reached rank 45. As such, Wang Feng focused most of his energy on battling the Titan giant ape. It had to be said that Ming's combat prowess was extremely fearsome, and he also possessed a gravity domain. Wang Feng was no match for Ming at all. In Wang Feng's estimation, if they were to fight for real, he might not be able to defeat Ming even at rank 70. In particular, with the staff that he had given to Ming, Wang Feng felt that he would have a hard time even if he were to reach rank 70. However, during this half a year of torture, Wang Feng's greatest improvement was in his battle with the Void Realm. After all, battling under Ming's gravity domain every day was extremely beneficial to his progress in attaining the spatial realm. Originally, the Void Realm greatly enhanced one's senses, allowing them to react in all types of minute ways and evade the enemy's attack. Under Ming's training, Wang Feng became more and more proficient in using the Void Realm. After attaining the Void Realm, Wang Feng was even immune to Ming's gravity domain for a short period of time. The Void Realm involved Wang Feng's understanding of every single muscle and bone in his body, as well as his spiritual power. After attaining the Void Realm, Wang Feng's spiritual power was increased by more than 10 times, and his brain was in a state of extreme stress. It was similar to a CPU that was overclocking itself, and in this state, he could control every single muscle in his body to the finest degree, thereby significantly increasing his speed. This was a result of the improvements he had received from Ming's beatings. After all, Wang Feng had been beaten by a 100,000-year-old soul beast that was comparable to a titled Douluo for half a year, so there was no way that he hadn't improved at all. The current Void Realm had already become one of Wang Feng's greatest trump cards. However, entering this state would have an extremely severe impact on one's body. This was similar to how overclocking a CPU would damage the CPU itself and the motherboard. If one's motherboard wasn't up to par, then there was no way that it could support such an overclocking state. Using it for extended periods of time would naturally become even more difficult. On top of that, it would be very difficult for one to enter this state without the spiritual power enhancement provided by the Black Band's spiritual skull. End of chapter. Chapter 300. With Wang Feng's current physical fitness, he had to activate the second gear, hide the mysterious underworld armor, and use the Black Hoop spiritual skull to enter the Void Realm for a short minute. He couldn't enter the first gear yet, but in this minute Wang Feng was almost invincible. Unless it was a super strong agility type Soul Douluo, it was impossible to detect his speed and perception. Although Tang San's team of 7 was very strong, their decision-making was good, and their use of soul skills was also very good. But in this crushing state, there was no possibility of victory. It was also impossible for them to touch the corner of Wang Feng's clothes. If it was in Wang Feng's first gear, he could still touch them. But after entering the second gear and activating the new form of the Void Realm, it would be difficult for the 7 of them to touch him even if they all obtained their 4th soul ring. Consider it the first time I've used this evolved Void Realm in actual combat with you guys. Wang Feng said with a smile. Tomorrow, I'll let you guys see the effect of the God-slaying spear, and feel a crazy soul beast? The next day, Oscar and Ma Hongjun had completely absorbed the soul rings of the 2 soul beasts. Their 4th soul skills were very strong. Ma Hongjun absorbed the soul ring of the King of the Earth and obtained the Phoenix Skywhistle Strike, which had 2 stages. Within a range of 5 meters, the first stage could make the opponent dizzy, and the second stage could produce magma to attack the opponent and cause a lot of damage, but it required the cooperation of Tang San. Because this was a move that required accumulation of power, if they left the range in the first stage, the result would be a miss, and Oscar's pink intestine could increase the overall state by 10%. They were all very strong soul skills. Although the soul skills were very good, the 7 of them weren't too excited after the crushing defeat last night. Instead, they were very quiet and calm. Looking at this situation, the master smiled in his heart. This was the effect he wanted to see. The 7 children in front of him were very talented. They also had a tacit understanding, but they needed someone to supervise and spur them. They couldn't be complacent and arrogant. This person had to be young and make them feel frustrated. Naturally, it could only be Wang Feng. They're already in the state of being the teacher of kings. Master thought, this year's Continental Advanced Soul Master Tournament is not simple. If they want to go further, they need this kind of tempering. The group shuttled through the forest. The setting sun forest wasn't very big, but it would still take a few days to walk out of it. However, the quality of the soul beasts here couldn't compare to the great Star Doe forest. After half a day, the group still had not found anything. Fortunately, the six-ringed Soul Emperor that Tang San and the others were worried about didn't attack them again. It seemed that the battle last night had given them a chance to catch their breath. There was no harvest for the entire day. The remaining three wanted to find the most suitable soul beast, and with the presence of a Grandmaster, the requirements were naturally stricter. Night was approaching. On this day, the six-ringed Soul Emperor didn't attack them. Although Tang San and the others were still vigilant, they still heaved a sigh of relief. "Teacher, we can't go on like this." Tang San looked at the Grandmaster. Flender said, "I have a way to quickly attract the soul beasts. But it's more dangerous." The four of them then looked at Tang San. If they continued to search like this, it would be too exhausting. If there was a better way, it would naturally be the best. "What is it?" the Grandmaster asked. Tang San took out the delicate silk immortal from his 100 treasures pouch and smiled as he said, "This is an immortal item. If I nourish it with herbs, it will emit a special fragrance. As this herb is a treasure, the fragrance it emits will attract soul beasts." The four of their eyes brightened. "This method is not bad, but it's a little dangerous. What if we attract too many soul beasts?" Flender thought for a moment and said, "Unless there's a place that can block these soul beasts." "Is the place where you and Dugu Bo cultivated still there?" the Grandmaster asked. "It's there. There's a poison array there. Even 10,000-year soul beasts don't dare to enter. Let's go there for now." Tang San pondered for a moment. He thought that even the six-ringed Soul Emperor wouldn't dare to enter that place. In this way, they could temporarily avoid conflict with him. When everyone obtained their fourth soul skills, they should be able to pose a threat to him. Only then would they have a chance to pass the test. After they finished discussing, they quickly rushed to the Icefire Yin Yang well. Tang San hadn't been here for half a year. When he came again, he discovered that this place was still very beautiful. After everything was done, the delicate silk immortal's fragrance slowly dissipated. Everyone waited quietly. Not long after, a low roar came from the front, bringing with it a strong gust of wind. When they saw this, Flender and Lu Erlong became alert. "It's a tiger-type soul beast," the Grandmaster said. "Tang San, you'll have to kill it yourselves this time. Be careful." Just as the Grandmaster finished speaking, Tang San and the others saw a brightly colored tiger bursting out from the forest. It was a pitch-black tiger. Other than the white pattern on its forehead, it was more than 4.5 meters long, and its shoulder height was close to 2 meters. What was even stranger was that its eyes were blood-red. "Be careful, it's a 5,000-year ghost tiger," Tang San said. "Ghost tigers are soul beasts that are extremely fast and aggressive. They're very ferocious." As he spoke, Tang San and the others started fighting with this ghost tiger. Ghost tigers had a special ability, Shadow Clone. Normally, there would be 3 of them. However, this one was older. It could transform into 4 different shadows to attack, and it was difficult to distinguish between them. Dai Mubai's White Tiger's Fierce Light Wave and Tang San's Binding Spiderweb each destroyed 1 shadow. Ma Hongjuan's Phoenix Fireline also destroyed 1 shadow. However, this ghost tiger seemed to be very violent. Instantly, it split into 4 shadows and charged towards the herb. Everyone was caught off guard. Fortunately, Tang San had the purple demon eyes. He saw that it was the second shadow from the left. After identifying it, Tang San used Binding Spiderweb to slightly control the ghost tiger's momentum. At night, Zhu Zhuqing's speed was the most terrifying. Even if the ghost tiger charged over, it couldn't hurt her. In addition, Tang San's Binding Spiderweb slowed down the ghost tiger's momentum. After Zhu Zhuqing dodged, she immediately used her third soul skill, Netherworld Slash, and attacked the ghost tiger. The purplish-gold claw merged into one and seemed to become a purplish-gold sharp blade. It cut into the ghost tiger's abdomen and pulled out a wound so deep that bones could be seen. However, the ghost tiger, which had broken free from the web, did not seem to notice such a powerful attack. It roared angrily and charged in the direction of Ning Rongrong and Oscar without any hesitation. Everyone was shocked when they saw this. Zhu Zhuqing's attack was so powerful, and the ghost tiger was also seriously injured. Why didn't it seem to notice anything? This ghost tiger is a little strange. There seems to be a wound on its back. It has gone crazy. Tang San observed with his purple demon eyes and immediately said, Rongrong, Xiao Ao, eat the mushroom intestines and avoid this ghost tiger. End of chapter. Chapter 301. Originally, under Zhu Zhuqing's soul skill, the ghost tiger's momentum should be greatly reduced. Then, Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjuan's second attack would be formed. Together with Xiao Wu's final attack, they should be able to make the ghost tiger lose its ability to fight. However, this scene was completely out of their expectations. Ning Rongrong and Oscar were also shocked and immediately flew into the air. They didn't understand why the ghost tiger was so berserk. What's going on? Zhao Wuji and the others were also shocked. What he saw was very clear. The ghost tiger should have been injured before it came. Lu Erlong pointed at the wound on the ghost tiger's back. That wound caused the ghost tiger to lose its nature and enter an extremely berserk state. Although Zhuqing's attack caused great damage to it, the ghost tiger didn't care at all in this state. They will be in a tough battle. I wonder how they will deal with such a special situation. Lu Erlong saw it clearly. Flender also saw it very clearly. Grandmaster's strength was low, so he couldn't see it clearly. However, after listening to the two, he said, "It seems that he might have done it." The three of them were stunned. "You mean, it's Lin Feng?" Flender suddenly understood. "But how did he make the ghost tiger go berserk?" "I knew it. He didn't attack for the whole day. It doesn't suit his character. Let's watch first. If they are in danger, we will make a move." Tang San and the others were shocked by the ghost tiger's state. However, after countless battles, they quickly realized what was going on. Continue to exhaust it and restrain it. Even if it is in a berserk state, there will be a time when it can't take it anymore. Tang San ordered calmly, "Zhuqing, this ghost tiger is very suitable for you. However, it will be difficult to make it lose its ability to fight in this state. You must find the right opportunity later. We will create the conditions for you to kill it in one strike." The seven of them originally wanted to make the ghost tiger lose its ability to fight, but now they could only change their strategy. "No need. I have an idea." At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing walked out and said in a deep voice, "Rongrong, give me full strength. I will kill it myself." Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Ning Rongrong nodded and several rays of light landed on Zhu Zhuqing's body. Zhu Zhuqing took a deep breath and focused on the ghost tiger in the distance. Zhu's purple gold claws flickered with a cold light. She directly rushed over. She was extremely fast. However, this 5,000-year ghost tiger wasn't to be trifled with. It also charged towards Zhu Zhuqing. In the next moment, the moment the two figures came into contact, Zhu Zhuqing leaped onto the ghost tiger's back. Netherworld's 100 claws. The purplish gold cold light flashed across the ghost tiger's back dozens of times in a row. This was only her second with Zhu's soul. But this time, the ghost tiger let out a painful roar. Immediately after that, with it Zhu's. Everyone was stunned. Even with that, to the Toto twos to get down to the it's of course of the Zhu of course. "Zhuqing, how did you do it?" Xiao Wu said in surprise. "This ghost tiger's vitality should be very strong, and it's in a berserk state. It doesn't feel any pain at all. It shouldn't be hit by a soul skill, right?" Everyone gathered around. Only Tang San looked at the spot where Zhu Zhuqing had used her soul skill and said in realization, I see. Zhuqing, you used your netherworld's 100 claws to attack its wound, right? Tang San pointed at the wound on the ghost tiger's back. This wound was a very small scratch. It seemed that the ghost tiger had become so berserk because of this scratch. Even now, when they got closer, they could feel that this wound contained an extremely terrifying blood aura. Yes. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. When I attacked it at close range, I also saw this wound. It probably went berserk because of this wound. If I used my netherworld's 100 claws to attack it and stare at this wound, it could expand its wound. The pain caused by this wound is obviously more effective than any of our attacks. I think that as long as we expand this wound, the ghost tiger should die instantly. After hearing this, everyone was silent. They didn't expect Zhu Zhuqing to be able to think so much during the close combat. I wonder who caused this wound? Oscar frowned and said, I have a feeling that it's not that simple. Tang San shook his head. He wasn't sure who caused this wound. There were too many possibilities. However, this ghost tiger is extremely berserk when it's alive. Zhuqing, it won't be difficult for you to absorb it after killing it in this state. Tang San smiled and said, this is the best result. Because this ghost tiger was injured by this wound, it was in extreme pain. However, because it went berserk, it didn't feel the injury. Instead, it wanted to die. This wound emitted an extremely ferocious aura, causing the ghost tiger's soul to be afraid. Being able to kill it is also a form of relief for it. When everyone heard this, they were slightly enlightened. Zhu Zhuqing opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but she didn't say anything. Actually, she wanted to say that this wound was on the wounds of the 2 soul beasts that died yesterday. However, because those 2 soul beasts were killed by Oscar and Ma Hongjun and absorbed their soul rings, they didn't notice it. And because she was sent flying by the mysterious 6-ringed soul emperor at the beginning, she happened to land near those 2 soul beasts and coincidentally saw this kind of small wound. Obviously, the wounds on those 2 soul beasts were deliberately left by the other party. If they had noticed it in advance, they would have been mentally prepared to deal with this ghost tiger. In other words, this ghost tiger's wound was also caused by that 6-ringed soul emperor. That 6-ringed soul emperor has been helping us and secretly warning us. Zhu Zhuqing thought to herself. Thinking of this, Zhu Zhuqing was about to say something. At this moment, suddenly, there was an earthquake-like sound in the distance. You guys go back inside first. I'm afraid there are many soul beasts. Flender and Lu Erlong walked over. There are at least 30 soul beasts. Grandmaster heard the sound and said in a deep voice, and I'm afraid there are soul beasts above 10,000 years among them. With Flender and Lu Erlong's observation, they had already noticed it just now. So exaggerated? Dai Mubai took a deep breath and said, this immortal medicine is quite powerful. There's something else that's not good. Flender looked at the few of them and said, these soul beasts all have wounds on their bodies. I observed them just now. Every one of them has the same wound as the ghost tiger just now. One of them is a 30,000-year soul beast, and it has the same special wound. This means that they are all in a state of madness. When everyone heard this, they instantly fell silent. Although there were many benefits to killing these soul beasts with special wounds, and it was very easy to absorb them. But it was so easy to kill them, especially those soul beasts above 10,000 years. When they went berserk, there was no chance at all. They all have wounds? Ma Hongjun wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. Who caused this? So terrifying? Even 30,000-year soul beasts can be injured. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing whispered, it's him, it's that 6-ringed soul emperor. When Tang San and the others heard this, they immediately looked at her in astonishment. Cough cough, please count the votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 302. Zhu Zhuqing's words stunned Tang San and the others. These 30-odd soul beasts came from all directions because of the delicate silk immortal. However, wasn't it very difficult to injure every single soul beast and escape unscathed? Furthermore, there were 30,000-year soul beasts among them. If that was the case, who was this six-ringed soul emperor? Zhuqing's words make sense. Tang San thought for a moment and said, that six-ringed soul emperor is too fast. Even 30,000-year soul beasts might not be able to match his speed. As long as we can't restrict his speed, we can injure these soul beasts. After hearing Tang San's words, the others felt that it made sense. Zhuqing, how did you think of this? Xiao Wu asked. Zhu Zhuqing recounted how she had seen the wounds on the King of Earth and the Pink Goddess during the battle. After she finished, Tang San and the others were silent. Very good. As an agility-type soul master, Zhuqing, your investigative skills have improved greatly. The Grandmaster looked at Zhuqing with admiration. You were able to discover the clues left behind by your opponent, analyze them, and make a decision. Is this why you were so confident in using your second soul skill to kill that ghost tiger? If Zhu Zhuqing hadn't discovered that wound last night, she wouldn't have thought so much. As an agility-type soul master, she was responsible for investigating and analyzing the situation on the battlefield, and then relaying information to the commander. The more information she could gather, the more beneficial it would be for the team. Let's not talk about that six-ringed soul emperor for now. Flender swept his gaze across everyone. There are so many soul beasts outside. Let's think about what to do first. With so many soul beasts gathered, it'll be very dangerous even if we go out directly. Furthermore, they're unusually violent right now. Their attacks will be even more terrifying. There were more than 30 soul beasts, ranging from thousands to tens of thousands of years old. This wasn't something that a small team could defeat. These violent soul beasts are very suitable for us to absorb once they're killed. Tang San smiled and said, this six-ringed soul emperor didn't personally attack us this time, but it's obvious that he's testing us. As long as we pass, we will naturally gain a lot of benefit. The only thing we need to do now is to find the soul beasts we need from these 30 or so soul beasts. Tang San's detailed explanation made the others immediately understand the current situation. At this time, Tang San took down the flying divine claw in his hand and said with a smile, this may depend on the teachers. I think you all know that this thing is called the flying divine claw. It can grasp all kinds of terrain dozens of meters away to dodge or climb. As he spoke, Tang San suddenly pointed his flying divine claw at a huge rock in the distance. But at the same time, it can also be used to grab things. It just requires a powerful soul power to support it. A sharp cone-shaped hidden weapon suddenly shot out from the front of the divine claw, and the tough steel wire connected the two parts. The sharp cone pierced into the rock in the distance and instantly formed a huge steel claw, firmly locking the rock in place. Following that, Tang San circulated his soul force and clawed the rock back to him. Seeing this, Flender and the other teachers' eyes lit up. If we use this thing to catch soul beasts, one may not be enough, but 3 or even 4 of them are enough to catch the soul beasts outside one by one. Tang San handed the flying divine claw to Flender and said to Dai Mubai and the others, Mubai, Xiao Ao, take down the flying divine claw for the time being and let the teachers use it. He gave everyone a set of all kinds of hidden weapons. Dai Mubai and Oscar immediately took down the flying divine claw and gave it to Flender and Lu Erlong. Tang San gave it to Zhao Wuji. This mechanism wasn't complicated, and the 3 teachers were all old soul masters, so they naturally learned it very quickly. Then let's choose a soul beast for Rongrong first. Tang San looked at Ning Rongrong. Previously, Wang Feng said that it's best to choose a defensive soul skill for my 4th soul skill. It's best if it can protect me. Ning Rongrong giggled. Also, I feel that my body has become much stronger. I should be able to absorb soul beasts of a higher age. Even Oscar can't beat me. Oscar was speechless. His golden sausage's enhancement and deliciousness had both increased, but it couldn't increase his own enhancement. It wasn't like Ning Rongrong's 9 treasures star-glazed pagoda, which had the power of the stars that could increase the user's physical fitness. Xiao Feng is right. Your enhancement includes attack, agility, and soul power. Next, your defense is naturally the best. Grandmaster nodded. After a moment of thought, he said, "There is a scaled beast outside. Its defense is the strongest among all the soul beasts here. Even those 10,000-year soul beasts might not be able to compare to this scaled beast's defense. Also, it seems that there are some changes." Changes? Tang San was surprised. That's right. The master pointed outside. Ordinary scaled beasts have black scales and they look like crocodiles, but this one is obviously a little special. Not only is its age just right, but the scales on its back are also light purple. It should be a mutated scale. According to my guess, this kind of purple scale armor has outstanding defense, and I'm afraid that it might have some special abilities. This kind of scaled beast is very rare. Everyone looked at the scaled beast. The scales on its back were indeed light purple with a layer of black halo. We'll know after we catch it and absorb it. A trace of fire flashed in Lu Erlong's eyes. Without saying a word, she jumped high and shot out her flying divine claws. Flender and Zhao Wuji hurriedly followed. This Lu Erlong's temper was too violent. Even though the purple-scaled beast was slightly larger, it still wasn't enough to deal with the 3 powerful soul masters. It was as if it was being lifted by a crane. The scaled beast's huge body was pulled in, and it fell to the ground with a thud. After absorbing the poisonous fog from the poison array and being restrained by Flender's flying divine claws, the scaled beast was like a tortoise that had fallen to the ground. Its abdomen was facing the sky, but even its abdomen was covered with layers of scales. The master quickly explained the weaknesses of this scaled beast. After that, he asked Lu Erlong to bring Ning Rongrong to absorb and kill this soul beast. Little 3, choose this man-faced demon spider for your 4th soul ring. The master pointed at the man-faced demon spider in the distance. I'm sure you know the characteristics of the man-faced demon spider. This 6,000-year soul beast is the most suitable. Tang San was silent for a moment. My 6-ringed soul emperor friend is giving you guys a test, but from the injuries these soul beasts have suffered, it's obvious that he deliberately ordered them to come here. The master said. That was indeed the case. Whether it was the ghost tiger that had reached its limit or the purple-scaled beast, they were not easy to find. Even if they had the delicate silk immortal, they might not have been able to attract soul beasts that were so perfect for them. Tang San nodded. He naturally understood this point. That's why this 6,000-year man-faced demon spider was given to you after being selected by him. After last night's battle, he had a clear understanding of your abilities and martial souls. The master continued, although there are many soul beasts here, there are soul beasts that you need mixed in with them. 6,000-year soul beasts were the oldest soul beasts in the group. They had already surpassed the limit of a rank 40 soul master. At this moment, Tang San suddenly looked to the side and laughed. But teacher, there's a 10,000-year underground demon spider over there. I think it's more suitable. I think that's what the 6-ringed soul emperor wants, right? Chapter 303. Hearing this, Grandmaster was stunned. A 10,000-year underground cave devil spider? Grandmaster naturally saw it too, but when he heard Tang San's words, his face couldn't help but sink. He wanted to say something, but Flender walked over and spoke first. No, a 10,000-year soul beast is too dangerous. Lin Feng's situation is an exception. What if something happens to you? Grandmaster also said in a deep voice. Little San, a 10,000-year soul beast is too dangerous for you. If you don't have a suitable reason, I won't agree to let you do so. Reason? Tang San smiled and said, "There are 2 reasons. First, it's because of the Advanced Soul Master Tournament. Grandmaster, if the 7 of us aren't stronger than others in any aspect and don't have a 10,000-year soul ring, do you think it's possible to surpass all the elite soul masters on the continent?" Grandmaster was stunned. Yes, even if the 7 of them were geniuses, how could there be no other geniuses on the continent? How could they surpass others? Immediately after, Tang San said, "The other reason is that 6-ringed Soul Emperor Senior. First of all, he drove these soul beasts here. Apart from the 30,000-year soul beast, this means that he also thinks we can absorb these soul beasts. The 6,000-year man-faced demon spider and the 10,000-year underground cave devil spider were all options given to me by this senior. Therefore, in his opinion, I also have the ability to absorb this underground cave devil spider." This was reverse reasoning, reverse thinking. Grandmaster and Flender were stunned again. They knew who this 6-ringed Soul Emperor Senior was. In other words, Lin Feng also thought that Tang San could absorb this underground cave devil spider's soul ring? Wang Feng naturally thought so. After all, in the original work, Tang San absorbed the underground cave devil spider, so there shouldn't be any problems. Furthermore, this underground cave demonic spider was over 11,000 years old. It wasn't a new underground cave demonic spider, so the older it was, the more effective it would be. Grandmaster and Flender were silent. In addition, I absorbed 2 immortal herbs, and my body has already been cleansed. I'm several times stronger than a soul master of the same level, so I'm 100% confident that I can absorb this underground cave devil spider, Tang San said confidently. At this moment, Xiao Wu walked over and whispered, "Brother, is it really 100%? After the death of a 10,000-year soul beast, their soul rings would be absorbed, resulting in a spiritual shock. This was because 10,000-year soul beasts possessed extremely high intelligence. When their consciousness was in their soul rings, once absorbed, the soul vibrations would cause an extremely frightening impact to the soul master's spirit. If it's light, he'll become an idiot. If it's heavy, he'll die." This wasn't just limited to 10,000-year soul beasts. Soul beasts with higher intelligence would also experience this. The first 6,000-year-old golden lightning leopard that Wang Feng encountered had such a situation. At that time, Wang Feng was only a 6-year-old child. Therefore, low-ranked soul masters generally wouldn't absorb 10,000-year soul rings. Apart from the fact that he was not strong enough, his mind and soul were not strong enough either. He needed to wait until he was older. Soul shock? Grandmaster was slightly taken aback. He didn't know about this. "Yes, my mother told me." Xiao Wu's voice was a little downcast. "Xiao Wu, do you know why I said I was 100% sure?" Tang San said with a smile. "That's because I'm not a 14-year-old child. Adding up my 2 lifetimes, I'm already over 40 years old. His spiritual soul might be able to withstand the impact of a 10,000-year soul beast." Of course, Tang San wouldn't say this out loud. "Why?" Xiao Wu asked. "It's very simple," Tang San explained. "First of all, my purple demon eyes have the ability to attack a soul beast's mind. It can reduce the soul-shaking effect you speak of. There's another more important reason, which is also the safest reason." "Have you forgotten the wounds on these soul beasts?" Tang San continued. "These wounds aren't simple. Earlier on, I felt that these wounds contained an extremely frightening aura that caused these 10,000-year soul beasts to become abnormally manic. That's because their souls were shaken by this aura. After we killed them, their souls would become very weak after going berserk. That's why we were able to absorb them so easily. Of course, the enormous soul power of 10,000-year soul beasts isn't something that ordinary people can withstand." Tang San's words were very reasonable. After hearing this, Grandmaster nodded slightly. Flender didn't say anything else. "Brother, go then." Xiao Wu chuckled softly. "If something happens to you, I'll accompany you. Don't think about leaving me alone. Tang San patted Xiao Wu's head and smiled. Don't worry, I'll be fine. After the discussion, Flender and Zhao Wuji directly went to catch the underground cave demon spider outside. The process of catching the underground cave demon spider was a little dangerous because Lu Erlong was still venting her anger on the scaled armor beast. There were sounds coming from the ground, which made everyone more and more afraid of Lu Erlong. As for the underground cave demon spider, they could only rely on Flender and Zhao Wuji. The process of catching the underground cave demon spider was extremely dangerous. This underground cave demon spider was in a frenzied state. When it saw the flying divine claw coming at it, it didn't even dodge. Instead, it used its sharp spider legs to slap it away. Then, it spat out spider silk to entangle the flying divine claw, making it completely useless. In this state, it didn't seem to know fatigue. Even though it knew that it couldn't resist the two soul sages, it didn't run away. Instead, it set up its special skill, spider web cage, around the area. Once the enemy entered its attack range, the spider web on the ground would be activated and instantly trap the enemy. When it was activated, there were no signs or energy fluctuations. It was very difficult to deal with. However, as soul sages, Flender and Zhao Wuji naturally wouldn't be trapped by a soul beast skill. This kind of frenzied state actually greatly reduces the combat power of this kind of soul beast. Tang San watched the battle and thought to himself, the underground cave demon spider is strong in control, restriction, and concealment. But when it's in a frenzied state, it won't choose to conceal itself when it loses control of its consciousness. How did that wound happen? I've never heard of such a terrifying and ferocious blood aura. Tang San wasn't the only one who couldn't understand this point. Even Flender and Zhao Wuji couldn't understand it. This was because they had never encountered such a special situation in their lives. Tang San saw the opportunity and used the flying divine claw to dash out and bind the underground cave demon spider with a spider web restraint. 3 flying divine claws sank into the flesh of the underground cave demon spider's shell and brought it back. But at this moment, Xiao Wu and the others in the poison array were attacked. Xiao Wu. Tang San saw it clearly with his purple demon eyes. It was the man-faced demon spider. At this moment, Lu Erlong had already returned. Ning Rongrong should still be absorbing the soul ring. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. He immediately rushed over. Although Grandmaster blocked in front of Xiao Wu, his strength was limited and couldn't block the man-faced demon spider's charge. On the contrary, Xiao Wu used her agile body to dodge the attack of the 6,000-year man-faced demon spider. However, the man-faced demon spider was in a frenzied state. Even though Xiao Wu wasn't weak and continuously used teleportation to dodge the man-faced demon spider's attack, she was still stabbed in the shoulder blade. At this moment, Lu Erlong had just arrived. Seeing Xiao Wu being stabbed, she immediately activated her true Crimson Dragon True Body and rushed over to beat up the man-faced demon spider. In just a few breaths, the man-faced demon spider was beaten up until it was covered in dragon flames and twitching on the ground. Tang San seemed to have gone crazy. He directly used the 8 spider spears and rushed in front of the man-faced demon spider, ignoring everyone's cries. The 8 spider spears pierced the man-faced demon spider's body, causing it to cry out in pain. Lu Erlong directly walked to Xiao Wu's side. Chapter 304. Child, are you alright? Lu Erlong's tone was very gentle after venting her anger. The others were also watching closely. Wang Feng was also watching in the dark. He wasn't very worried. He clearly saw that when the man-faced demon spider pierced Xiao Wu's shoulder, it was blocked by something. Wang Feng was able to clearly see all the battles that were taking place. Using the Black Circlet Spiritual Skull's Shadowma's soul skill, he could hide in the surroundings and make it difficult for others to detect him. Even Tang San's purple demon eyes couldn't detect him. This skull was at least 100,000 years old. Even a 60,000-year soul beast couldn't detect it. No matter how powerful Tang San's purple demon eyes were, it couldn't detect Wang Feng at his level. It should be the yearning heartbroken red, right? Wang Feng thought to himself as he recalled something. Although the berserk man-faced demon spider was difficult to deal with, the current Xiao Wu wasn't the original Xiao Wu. To be precise, she was much stronger. Although she couldn't escape and was injured in the end, it would be difficult for the man-faced demon spider to kill Xiao Wu even if it had 6,000 years of cultivation. Not long after, Wang Feng saw Flender pat Xiao Wu's back a few times. Xiao Wu spat out a mouthful of purple blood and then looked much better. I remember that Xiao Wu recognized Lu Erlong as her godmother here? Wang Feng thought to himself. He planned to wait for everyone to absorb their soul rings and then fight with them to see if the 7 of them could take off his mask. If he didn't use the evolved emptiness realm, the 7 of them still had a chance, but it wouldn't be easy. They needed to think of a special method. In the poison array, Xiao Wu leaned on Lu Erlong's thigh and looked at Lu Erlong's rare gentleness. Everyone was incomparably surprised. Everyone had seen Lu Erlong's violence before. Even Flender was secretly surprised. He didn't expect to see such a rare gentle side of Lu Erlong. Xiao Wu, are you willing to be my direct disciple? Lu Erlong asked in a low voice. With me here, I won't let anyone or soul beast bully you. Xiao Wu looked at the gentleness in Lu Erlong's eyes and couldn't help but recall the gentleness in her mother's eyes. I'm willing. As she spoke, she was about to stand up and acknowledge her as her master. But she was stopped by Lu Erlong. There's no need for those formalities. I hate those formalities and etiquette the most. What's more, I don't care about those mortal reputations. Lu Erlong looked at the master as if she was implying something. Teacher doesn't have any relatives now. Even the man I love doesn't want me. If you don't mind, you can call me Mommy in the future. Grandmaster. Xiao Wu's heart was filled with both shock and awe. On the one hand, she could feel that Lu Erlong really thought that way. On the other hand, she could naturally tell that Lu Erlong was secretly scolding the master. The relationship between the master and Lu Erlong was actually much better, but the master still couldn't let go of the special relationship between the two of them, resulting in them being unable to be together perfectly. Thinking about it, Xiao Wu couldn't help but think of herself and her brother. She felt a little lucky, but she also felt sad for the two teachers. She also thought of her mother. For a moment, Xiao Wu's eyes became misty. She sobbed a few times and threw herself at Lu Erlong. Mom! Everyone sighed with emotion as they watched. The master was startled, as if he wanted to know what to talk about, but he was still struggling. Apart from the master, everyone else went up to congratulate her. Acknowledging a mother is a big deal even in my previous life. Wang Feng also sighed with emotion. Xiao Wu's background was not any worse than Tang San's. In fact, it was even a little more tragic. At this time, Tang San's 8-spider spear also evolved after absorbing the man-faced demon spider's cultivation. All external soul bones could evolve. This was also the reason why external soul bones were so precious. They would evolve as the master became stronger. For example, Wang Feng's mysterious underworld armor had evolved after absorbing the 4th soul ring. It was stronger and had more mysterious underworld spikes. He could now fuse the mysterious underworld spikes into a large weapon and could control thousands of them. This was because of the Black Hoop's spiritual skull. This was because the higher the level of control, the greater the demand on spiritual power. Without this skull, Wang Feng could only control about 3,000 mysterious underworld spikes. With this skull, he could control 5,000 spikes. If it's on the battlefield, my mysterious underworld spikes will be a great killing weapon. With the Ice Flame Furious Lotus, my group attack won't be inferior to Dugubo's. Wang Feng thought. If combined, they could even form a 2 to 3 meter long broadsword. One day, it wouldn't be impossible to form a 40-meter broadsword. Not long after absorbing the man-faced demon spider, Tang San quickly came to Xiao Wu. Everyone consciously gave them some space to interact. If he wasn't cultivating, he would be absorbing soul rings. Grandmaster walked to the side alone. He didn't give Lu Erlong his blessing just now. He just felt helpless. He wanted to do something, but he couldn't break through. Erlong clearly understood him, but he couldn't cross the hurdle in his heart. Grandmaster. At this time, a faint voice sounded beside Grandmaster. It was Wang Feng, but he wasn't wearing his mask now. Little Feng, Grandmaster looked at Wang Feng and was startled at first because this was the first time he saw Wang Feng in half a year. He had changed a lot. Compared to before, his face was slightly darker. It was probably because he had gone through a lot of battles. His face was more angular and he looked more like a young man now. I thank you on behalf of Little Three and the others. Grandmaster sighed. Wang Feng waved his hand and said, Grandmaster, are you going to continue to be like this with Teacher Erlong? Grandmaster was silent. He knew that Wang Feng must have been watching everything quietly just now. Am I not like a man? Grandmaster shook his head with a wry smile. Wang Feng shook his head and said with a smile, Grandmaster, I know you care about your relationship with Teacher Erlong. Well, let me give you an idea. Let me ask you first, you love Teacher Erlong, right? Grandmaster nodded without any hesitation at this point. In other words, you two love each other spiritually. But Grandmaster, are you worried that if you have a physical relationship with Teacher Erlong, the world will not tolerate it and it will be easy to be slandered? In fact, he was afraid that others would talk nonsense. After all, they were cousins. Grandmaster nodded silently. In fact, it's simple. Wang Feng smiled and said, there's a term called platonic love. It means that there can only be spiritual love between two genders. There's no need to have a physical relationship. Since you and Teacher Erlong love each other spiritually, you can live with Teacher Erlong. Even if you sleep on the same bed, as long as there's no physical relationship, it'll be fine, right? You two can have a platonic spiritual love. Even if someone asks, you can confidently say that there's no physical relationship between you two. This way, both of you can be together and avoid any gossip. After saying that, Wang Feng looked at Grandmaster. Chapter 305. Grandmaster looked as if he had been struck by lightning. Platonic spiritual love. Grandmaster murmured, so it can be like this. Why didn't I think of it? Thank you, Little Feng. I understand now. Grandmaster ran back after he finished speaking. Wang Feng laughed secretly. Grandmaster was a conservative person. Wang Feng remembered that Flender was the one who enlightened Grandmaster in the original novel, but since the Dean didn't enlighten him now, he could only try it himself. But humans are made of flesh and blood, sleeping on the same bed. How can there be a real platonic spiritual love? Wang Feng shook his head and said, and with Teacher Erlong's age, Grandmaster, I'm afraid you'll be eaten in a few nights. This kind of thing can only happen once or countless times. He glanced at Grandmaster. Wang Feng put on his mask again and looked at Ning Rongrong, who was absorbing the soul ring. This girl, what is she thinking about? She's so happy. There's even a smile on her face? Wang Feng looked at Ning Rongrong, who was wrapped in purple light. Her delicate little face seemed to be in a dream as she revealed a happy smile and a little rosy. Wang Feng glanced at her from afar and walked to the other side to look at Zhu Zhuqing, who was absorbing the soul ring. Zhu Zhuqing was still absorbing the soul ring of the ghost tiger. There was no smile on her face and she was still cold. Wang Feng nodded slightly and walked to the other side to look at Tang San, who had walked into the icefire Yin Yang well and was absorbing the soul ring of the underground cave devil spider. Wang Feng nodded secretly and waited quietly. Not long after, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing successfully absorbed the soul rings one after another and gathered with everyone. The absorption of the fourth soul ring had changed the two of them slightly. Ning Rongrong was a little bigger and seemed to have matured a little. On the other hand, Zhu Zhuqing, who was already very old, seemed to have lost some of her youthfulness. Her figure and youthful face made her appear much more mature than other girls her age, and after absorbing her fourth soul ring, her youthful face seemed a little more mature. However, the aura on her body became colder. It was probably because of the ghost tiger. Soon, everyone waited until dawn when the sun rose. Finally, Tang San woke up. Xiao Wu was the first to rush out. She hugged Tang San tightly as he rushed out of the icefire Yin Yang well. The three of them also revealed their soul skills. Ning Rongrong's fourth soul skill not only increased the defense of her teammates, but also gave her temporary immunity to negative effects. It should be the effect of the purple scale armor. Although it didn't last long, it was strong enough. Special attacks, such as paralysis and poison, could be temporarily immune to them. It wasn't any worse than Oscar's pink intestines. Zhu Zhuqing's fourth soul skill was the Shadow Doppelganger attack. She split into 4 doppelgangers and attacked. As for Tang San's blue-silver cage, it was an extremely shocking crowd control skill. For this reason, he even experimented. Although the blue-silver cage's toughness and poison couldn't compare to his third soul skill, binding spiderweb, it was still a skill that could control the entire team. Only soul masters above rank 50 would be able to use this kind of crowd control. Little Three's blue-silver cage isn't very tough. Even an assault-type soul master like Mu Bai could break it. However, any team doesn't only have assault-type soul masters. There are other types as well. Grandmaster praised, in a chaotic battle, it can be absolutely fatal. Perhaps it won't increase his fighting strength by much, but in a group battle, if he works with Hong Jun's Phoenix Skyhowl, he can be considered invincible. Everyone nodded. Ma Hongjuan's Phoenix Skyhowl required a crowd control skill. Tang San's blue-silver cage was a crowd control skill. It could be said to be a perfect crowd control skill. Alright, for this trip to the setting sun forest, except for Xiao Wu, all of you have reached rank 41 and obtained soul rings suitable for you. It's about time to go back. Flender's heart instantly felt at ease. These 5 soul skills had given Shrek's 7 monsters a massive boost in power. It even made them feel that the championship of the Continental Advanced Elite Tournament was already in the bag. Wait, Grandmaster, we haven't fought that 6-ringed Soul Emperor yet. Does this count as passing the special training? Tang San suddenly asked. Grandmaster and the others looked at each other, not knowing how to answer. It'll be a little difficult for you to take off his mask. Next time, Lu Erlong said with a smile. Grandmaster had just reconciled with her and promised to be with her in the future. Although she didn't know what touched Grandmaster, Lu Erlong was pleasantly surprised. After waiting bitterly for more than 10 years, she had finally achieved her goal. She was in a very good mood now. She was no longer as irritable as before. When she spoke, she had a smile that made everyone feel very comfortable. Tang San thought for a moment. Even if the 5 of them obtained their 4th soul skill, to take off his mask in the state they were in the night before yesterday, it was indeed a little difficult. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly spoke. Not necessarily. When everyone saw this, they couldn't help but look at her in shock. I have a way to take off his mask. Zhu Zhuqing was silent for a while before saying, this method may require everyone's cooperation. In order to prevent him from eavesdropping on us, everyone gather together first. I'll have to trouble the 3 teachers to shield us from the outside world's perception. Let the 7 of us discuss it. Flender and Lu Erlong looked at each other and were a little surprised. They wondered what Zhu Zhuqing would do. However, the 4 teachers still did as they were told. They directly used their soul power to create a protective shield and let the 7 of them discuss it inside. They couldn't hear what the 7 of them were discussing. Wang Feng couldn't hear it either. What method does Zhu Qing have to take off my mask? Wang Feng was also a little confused. Even if the 5 of them obtained their 4th soul skill, they should know that he was watching them in the dark. As long as I enter the Void Realm, you won't be able to take off my mask. Wang Feng shook his head. No matter what method they wanted to use, it was almost impossible to take off his mask. Wang Feng watched as they muttered. Flender, Lu Erlong, and Zhao Wuji blocked the 7 of them. Let's do this first. Then do that, finally, in the light shield. After listening to Zhu Zhuqing's method, everyone looked at her strangely. It's a very good method. Tang San praised. It's exquisite. This 6-ringed Soul Emperor probably didn't think of it. Zhu Qing, you're too smart. How did you think of this method? Xiao Wu said. Then who will be the bait? Ning Rongrong thought for a while. As an auxiliary-type Soul Master, I'm not suitable to be the bait. Why don't we do it? Dai Mubai and Oscar Ma Hongjun had the same idea. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head and said, I'll do it myself. Moreover, I'm an agility-type Soul Master, so it's most suitable for me. But it still depends on the actual situation. When they heard this, they were startled and looked at Zhu Zhuqing strangely. Tang San was deep in thought. Chapter 306. All right, it's decided then. Tang San clapped his hands and led the 7 of them out of the light barrier. He shouted, Senior, we've already obtained soul rings. Isn't this special training over? Flender and the other 3 also left. They probably knew that a battle would break out soon. Tang San had just finished speaking. A figure flashed from a tree in the distance. That white figure was almost undetectable. Soon, Wang Feng appeared 50 meters away from them and looked at them quietly. Why are you still not giving up? The white figure let out a cold laugh. Then I'll give you one last chance. At this moment, Tang San and the others bowed to the white figure. Senior, although you're the one who's giving us special training, you've helped us a lot. We, the Shrek's 7 monsters, express our gratitude to you. The 7 of them had benefited a lot from the 3 battles and the soul beasts from last night. No need for nonsense. If you can take off my mask, you've passed my special training. The rules are right here. The white figure waved his hand. Tang San and the others nodded. In an instant, the 7 of them attacked. Ning Rongrong immediately buffed everyone, and Oscar's pink intestines quickly fell into the hands of the 7 of them. Wang Feng didn't stop them. He wanted to see what method the 7 of them had come up with to take off his mask. This time, the attack was still led by Dai Mubai, with Xiao Wu on the right and Zhu Zhuqing on the left. Blue-silver grass also quickly covered Wang Feng. It hasn't changed? Wang Feng thought. As something's wrong. Just as he was thinking, Dai Mubai activated his white tiger Vajra transformation. After eating the pink sausage and being buffed by Ning Rongrong, he could even fight against a rank 50 soul warrior. Dai Mubai took a big stride forward, but he didn't rush towards Wang Feng. Instead, he suddenly stopped. Then, he directly used his full power. A white tiger meteor shower shot towards Wang Feng. At the same time, Xiao Wu swung her blue-silver grass from behind, and a red figure was thrown over. Xiao Wu caught the figure in midair. She arched her back and used the strength of her waist to send the figure flying again, landing behind Wang Feng. Phoenix Sky Roar. Ma Hongjun, who was instantly thrown behind, would immediately use his 4th soul skill. A terrifying shockwave reverberated within 5 meters of him. Wang Feng wasn't within the range of his soul skill, and even if he was, he wouldn't have been knocked unconscious. What is Zhu Zhuqing thinking of? Wang Feng felt a little strange. They've just arrived and they've already made such a big commotion? When the white tiger meteor shower came, not a single one of the dozens of golden light balls hit Wang Feng. Wang Feng easily dodged all of them. Then, Ma Hongjuan's second phoenix Skyhowl also attacked. The terrifying magma attack shook the earth. But it still didn't hit Wang Feng. Wang Feng, on the other hand, used Instant Flash to send Dai Mubai flying with a palm strike and then sent Ma Hongjun flying with a kick in midair. Instantly, he broke through their attack. Such a large-scale attack seemed very strong, but it didn't have any effect on Wang Feng. Even if he didn't use his emptiness mirror, he could still avoid it. Last time, Tang San used his blue-silver grass to cover the entire area and create a terrifying net of blue-silver grass. After that, he used Ma Hongjuan's Phoenix Fireline to burn the entire area to block Wang Feng's attack. Where's Zhu Zhuqing? Wang Feng suddenly looked to the other side. He could sense that Zhu Zhuqing wasn't attacking him right now. Instead, she was using her fourth soul skill to create shadow clones and moving around quickly. Zhu Zhuqing's body? Why is there a special smell? Wang Feng instantly smelled something special on Zhu Zhuqing's body. That's the fragrance of the delicate silk immortal. Wang Feng was enlightened. I see. She wants to use the delicate silk immortal and the commotion caused by her attack to attract soul beasts to attack me? Not bad, not bad. You can think of this idea. Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjuan's fourth soul skills were able to create a huge commotion. Without mentioning the white tiger meteor shower, every golden spot of light would explode. Ma Hongjuan's Phoenix Sky Whistle was derived from the king of the earth's magma earth-splitting strike. Not only was it very strong, but it also created a huge commotion. If the delicate silk immortal's fragrance was added, soul beasts would definitely be attracted in a short period of time. When the few of us were discussing earlier, Little San must have handed the 100 treasures pouch to Zhu Zhuqing. No wonder she's releasing a special fragrance. Wang Fengxin nodded slightly. The huge commotion caused by the attack, coupled with Zhu Qing's speed, can allow the fragrance to spread in all directions. They can attract soul beasts in a short period of time. Not bad. They know that it's difficult to do it with just the 7 of them, so they're using external forces. It was a very good idea. However, there's a fatal flaw in this idea. Wang Feng furrowed his brow as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing. At this moment, roar! In the darkness, a huge figure pounced towards Zhu Zhuqing. Evidently, soul beasts had been attracted. The flaw is that you have the delicate silk immortal on you. The soul beasts will attack you first. Wang Feng furrowed his brow, and his pupils shrank. Following this, several exclamations could be heard. Zhuqing, be careful. Oh no, it's a 10,000-year ghost tiger. Move away. How did she attract such a strong soul beast? Tang San and the others exclaimed. The rest of the teachers were also terrified as they watched. They immediately activated their martial soul true bodies. No, it's too far. Flender and Lu Erlong felt a chill in their hearts. They could roughly tell what the 7 of them were planning. However, before they could figure out the flaw in their plan, the soul beast had already attacked. It was a 10,000-year ghost tiger. A 10,000-year ghost tiger was many times stronger than a 1,000-year ghost tiger. Its speed and attack were far superior. A 10,000-year ghost tiger could even teleport over short distances. It was like a shadow that appeared in front of them. The ghost tiger was 7 to 8 meters long and 4 meters tall. As it pounced, its huge body turned into an afterimage. Following this, it appeared 2 to 3 meters away from Zhu Zhuqing. It was about to tear Zhu Zhuqing into pieces. This ghost tiger was too fast. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing was still leaping in midair. She had just turned her head when she saw the ghost tiger pouncing towards her. Her face turned pale. At this moment, even if Flender and Lu Erlong reacted quickly, they couldn't react in time against the ghost tiger's short-distance teleportation. Wang Feng shuddered when he saw this. He couldn't care too much. Without another word, he entered the empty realm. The air around them seemed to flow 10 times faster. Wang Feng turned into a streak of light and rushed in front of Zhu Zhuqing. He hugged her waist and carried everyone on his back. After that, he channeled his soul power and punched the ghost tiger with all his might. He immediately exited the empty realm. Boom! The ghost tiger seemed to have been hit by an air cannon. It flew out in the air. As it flew out, its body quickly disintegrated and burst out a burst of blood mist. The scene was extremely shocking. Wang Feng slowly descended with Zhu Zhuqing in his arms. With his back to the crowd, he watched as Ghost Tiger was sent flying before he hurriedly turned to Zhu Zhuqing. "How are you? Are you okay?" Halfway through his words, Wang Feng saw a trace of slyness in Zhu Zhuqing's eyes. He knew that something was wrong. The next moment, the mask on his face was quickly removed by Zhu Zhuqing, who was in his arms with pursed lip. Wang Feng. Night continued. This chapter ends. Chapter 307. This was a meticulous plan. It seemed like they were luring the soul beasts to attack them, but they were actually making use of the fact that Wang Feng, a six-ringed soul emperor, wouldn't let anything happen to them. They made use of their enemy's weakness to reveal Wang Feng's mask. Luring the soul beasts to attack them was only a pretense. It had to be said that this idea was very outstanding. When the seven of them teamed up and allowed Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun to unleash their soul skills, the plan had already begun. As an agility-type soul master, Zhu Zhuqing carried the delicate silk immortal and circled around without attacking. On one hand, she wanted to lure the soul beast. On the other hand, the soul beasts she lured weren't meant to attack Wang Feng. They were meant to attack her. This was because she had the delicate silk immortal with her, so the soul beasts attacked her first. On the other hand, Zhu Zhuqing didn't tell everyone that she was trying to probe. As an agility-type soul beast, Zhu Zhuqing could control her distance well. She wouldn't be too far away from Wang Feng, but she also wouldn't be too close. This gave him a perfect opportunity to save her. But in reality, the soul beasts she lured exceeded Zhu Zhuqing's expectations. This was why she said before the battle that they had to see how the battle would turn out. The 10,000-year ghost tiger that was lured here was clearly beyond her expectations. It was too strong. Even Zhu Zhuqing couldn't react in time. When the ghost tiger attacked, she felt that she was done for. While this idea was good, it was too difficult to execute. The soul beasts lured here were uncertain factors. What if the six-ringed soul emperor couldn't save her in time? This was why Zhu Zhuqing was very pale when she turned around and saw the ghost tiger pouncing towards her. The crowd's shouts and worries were not an act. They were real. They were all real, to the point that Wang Feng didn't realize that something was wrong. The plan was good, but they didn't expect a 10,000-year ghost tiger to come. Even Flender, Zhao Wuji, and Lu Erlong couldn't save her in time. It could be said that this plan had been executed perfectly from the start. In the end, the appearance of the 10,000-year ghost tiger exceeded everyone's expectations. What exceeded everyone's expectations was the six-ringed soul emperor's attack. It was terrifying. It was as if they had returned to that night. In the blink of an eye, the six-ringed soul emperor had disappeared. When he reappeared, he had successfully rescued Zhu Zhuqing. The ghost tiger had also been dismembered on the spot. The plan had returned to what the seven of them had thought. When this six-ringed soul emperor saved Zhu Zhuqing, it was also the only time he could come into contact with her. It was also the best opportunity to remove the mask, which was now. Wang Feng grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's slender waist and descended from the sky. Because Wang Feng's back was facing Tang San and the others, they couldn't see what the six-ringed soul master looked like. He could only see Zhu Zhuqing's cold and watery eyes widen. It was as if he had seen something inconceivable. The mask that had been sent flying by Zhu Zhuqing was instantly caught in his hand. When it landed on the ground, he put it back on. Zhu Zhuqing shyly walked out of his arms, but she remained silent. You guys, you've gone a little too far. Wang Feng's cold voice slowly came. It made Tang San and the others lower their heads. And you? Wang Feng looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who was still in a daze, and said in a deep voice, That's a good idea, but have you thought about what if a stronger soul beast appears? Zhu Zhuqing also lowered her head, but she couldn't see her toes. Her head was shaking slightly. It was like a child who had done a wrong question and was scolded by the teacher. What if that 10,000-year soul beast is stronger? Wang Feng's voice was a little louder. If it's stronger. Although I can save you, I'll teach you a lesson. Wang Feng was really scared just now. The 10,000-year ghost tiger had rushed towards Zhu Zhuqing. If he had been 2 seconds later, or if he didn't have the evolved void realm, he wouldn't have been able to save her. There was only one possibility for Zhu Zhuqing: she had died. You guys! The 4 masters also walked over anxiously and scolded everyone with a dignified expression. Tang San, this idea was thought of by Zhu Qing. But as the commander, without your consent, it's definitely impossible to implement this plan. If something happens, who will be responsible? They were also scared just now. Fortunately, Lin Feng acted quickly, otherwise Zhu Zhuqing would definitely be a corpse now. Tang San lowered his head in shame and said, Teacher, I'm sorry. He didn't expect that a 10,000-year ghost tiger would be attracted in such a short time. Generally speaking, such a powerful soul beast wouldn't be attracted in such a short time. When the masters heard this, they wanted to say something, but Wang Feng waved his hand and interrupted. No need, in fact, it's not entirely their fault. It's the 10,000-year ghost tiger that was attracted. In addition to these methods, it should be because of the ghost tiger soul ring that Zhu Zhuqing absorbed. These 2 ferocious ghost tigers should know each other. They probably sensed the aura of the ghost tiger on Zhu Zhuqing's body, so they were attracted immediately. Hearing this, everyone was enlightened. Everyone came to a sudden realization. It was no wonder that such a powerful ghost tiger had been lured over. Well, you've passed the special training. Wang Feng glanced at everyone, turned around and was about to leave. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly took a few steps forward, gently pulled Wang Feng's white robe, and whispered, Thank you. I won't do this kind of thing again. Speaking of this, Zhu Zhuqing whispered again, Also, I should know who you are. Wang Feng didn't answer, just pulled back his robe, and disappeared like a shadow with a few leaps. Okay, you can go back. You've passed the special training and the first test perfectly. Flender quickly said and led the way back to the academy. At this time, Tang San and the others immediately surrounded Zhu Zhuqing. Zhuqing, you just lifted the mask of this 6-ring soul emperor and saw what he looked like, right? Is it a man or a woman? Xiao Wu asked curiously. This mysterious 6-ring soul emperor was shrouded in a mask. His voice was neutral and cold, and his behavior was strange. No one could figure him out at all. Xiao Wu's question made everyone curious, and they all looked at Zhu Zhuqing. However, Zhu Zhuqing shook her head. I don't know. You don't know? Didn't you lift his mask? Ning Rongrong was puzzled. Unexpectedly, Zhu Zhuqing answered, Under his mask there's another mask. Everyone, they were all dumbfounded. Because the other party's back was facing them, they didn't see what he looked like after he lifted the mask. But Zhu Zhuqing was in his arms, so they should have seen it, right? They didn't expect there to be another mask. Isn't he too mysterious and cautious? Ma Hongjun said exaggeratedly, Is he so awesome? He saved Zhuqing in an instant just now, and he even killed that ghost tiger with a punch. I didn't expect him to be so mysterious. Can't you even tell if he's a man or a woman? You should be able to tell from his smell, right? Or his body's toughness. Ning Rongrong was puzzled. Just now, Zhu Zhuqing was in his arms, so it should be easy to tell, right? Zhu Zhuqing shook her head, and her voice was a little shy. there's no smell on him. It's all been removed. His chest is covered with a layer of protective equipment similar to iron, and I can't even feel his heartbeat. His hands are also wearing very thick clothes, so I can't feel his skin. Wang Feng's disguise was extraordinarily good. How could he be discovered so easily? End of chapter. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.